Good evening and welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star from me, Luke, Ewan, and a man who's still really grumpy and disgusted that the Lord of the Rings took over Leicester Square while he was there the other week. He's still moaning about it. He's not given up yet.
Hate hobbits. Just hate them now.
Oh,
Luke
dear.
and I are going to be hearing about this for months.
Oh, and that's if we're lucky.
At least.
Oh, right. Spez, first things first. Can you keep an ear on the audio, please? I think I've sorted out the echo, but please let me know about the levels. That'd be magnificent. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. It is Friday night. It is the start. It's a belated start to the Baltic Star weekend, but we're starting it with a bang because when it's Thursday and we're all here, we play Traveller. And that is indeed what we're doing this evening. Our most beloved of all the games we play. It is what started us off on this adventure together. And we take great delight in doing it and great delight in you joining us for it. If you are a regular like Sparrow, one of our crew members, we love having you with us as always, and we're always glad you can turn up. If you're a new friend or a lurker or someone who's just sort of trying it out, thank you for trying it. We've got a certain style. All these channels have a certain style, let's face it. We won't hold a grudge if you pop in and you leave again. That's totally up to you. There's a lot of different choices. But if you do like what you see, please feel free to hang around. We'd love to have you with us. We'll go 2.5 hours-ish. I don't know, somewhere between 2 and 3 normally. Ish, wherever it feels best. With a break somewhere in the middle. Not always in the middle, but middle-ish. And we're quite relaxed and laid back, so, you know, you don't need to wear a tie or anything. You can put your shorts on, your lounge pants, put on a vest, and, you know, the usual sort of thing. Grab a drink like we're going to do and just sit back and enjoy the evening. Please feel free to lurk if you want to. We love our lurkers. Twitch is built on lurking. But if you want to chat, please feel free to. Chat is friendly. Any of the regulars in chat will chat with you if you wish about the stream or about other things. And we join in as well when we're not totally busy doing something. We tend to jump onto chat. Ewan's always amazed at how I can do 2 things at once. But he's pretty good as well, to be honest. Hey, Kels. How you doing?
I just don't listen to you, Luke, to be fair, when I'm in chat. It's the most peace I get all week.
How? That's because I have to message you all week to catch you up on the things you've ignored.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hoisted by your own petard. If you look at that red sun, you'll see there's some ways to spend points, and there's some really good ways to spend points on our channel, some really bad ways to spend points. Some interact with the game. They'll give us a boon. That is a good way. Let you name characters. That is a good way. If someone's going to buy something and you think, oh no, let's make Agnar do it, you can make Agnar pay for it. That's a good thing. Make Agnar pay for it and then pick the, well, if you're having one and he has to buy twice as much, that's a double winner. You can stop the story mid-flow like Critfail does and make one of us give a minute's worth of PowerPoint presentation on any topic you want. You can make Stefan try and steal something, or make one of our characters kick or punch something or someone going past. You can also show your love for my beloved posse, especially Ewan, who is the one man on this earth we're allowed to stan. We all simp for Ewan. The only simping I ever do. It's the only time I'm sympathetic to simping, in fact. Or, of course, to Ben, who has the most beautiful forearms and jaw combination when he... here we go. You see? There's lots of stuff. We can make Ben resplend. We can make Ben drink. Group hugs are there. They're cheap. Fist bumps for the homies. They're cheap. Sometimes we want to toast Greyhill, our beloved Greyhill, who we'll go into a bit more just after break. But that's quite cheapish, I suppose. But if you're skint, or you don't spend a lot of money,
You're going to be crazy.
that's it. Spend them now. You can't take them with you.
Exactly.
Ben's so shocked he's dropped. His camera's dropped. He's gone to drink so much. But yes, there's loads of things. For one credit, I'll drink to that. Is something you can agree with something. We keep it cheap. quite socialist in that regard, and just anyone can do it, and that's what we would just want you to enjoy your time with us. It's very chill, and we do break all the walls. We said last week we break all the walls, so feel free to make suggestions or nonsense, and we'll get involved as we see fit. Oh, welcome back, Kelly. Was it you leaving that forced Ben off camera as well? Are you two like linked in some weird like computer-based way? Speaking of Ben, I suppose I'll introduce my colleagues and then let our beloved Ben lead us on. My name is Luke. I'm in the bottom right-hand corner. Hello. In the blue corner. In the black. I'm matching with Ben today. I'm body doubling for him. He's had a very busy week of dropping chocolates off. So I stand in. I stand in for him. Oh, it's Ewan as well. We're all working together. He messaged us on Tuesday to say he was snowed under with work and chocolate delivery and all sorts. So we've all been sort of helping out a little bit. Not literal sorts, just all sorts. So we've all been helping him out this week. The other man helping him out is Two Across. He's my brother from another mother. He's the housewife's favourite. Yet again, I demanded a recount, but it came back even more strongly in his favour. It is our beloved Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hey, Luke. I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I'm much better now. We're here for a game of Traveller.
It's always a good end to the week, isn't it? After a busy
It
week.
is. I don't know why Ben's hiding behind it. But yeah, it's a great end. It's a great way to end the week and get ready for the weekend at the same time. What could get you ready for the weekend more than 2 hours of brunch and shopping with Luke?
Exactly right. Oh, I love it. Hey, Crit Fail, how are you? Ewan, there's one thing we have to do to make everything officially start, and that is to get the old fist bump going on. Ben's going to have to duck tonight.
It's been a while. Loosen up.
Oh, get limber. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh. Lovely. I felt that one. That was a strong connection. It was like electricity. We're going to roll well tonight, Ewan. I can sense it.
Yeah. The dice are
illegal.
Yours are cheaters. Isn't that what you said the other week?
Yeah, get my cheating dice.
Getting rid of the cheater dice.
It's going to be a joy. The person that we're going to be rolling against, because he is our enemy, the villain, the most villainous man we know, who spends hours every week lovingly crafting a tale for us to go through, and then inwardly dying as we go off at a right angle and totally ignore stuff to stroke a cat or go in the hot tub. It is the smartest man in any room. He lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence, and who has been overworking himself by dropping chocolates off to women up and down the country.
And all because a lady loves milk trash.
Well, thank you.
Good evening, Ali, first of all, and then good evening, Ben. How are you?
Hi, Ali. Yes, I'm all right, thank you. Yeah. Weird week, but much better now that I'm here and doing this, which is, better, always better.
It always is, isn't it? It's funny that it can sort of take a tiring week, a down week, and just make it a bit cheerful.
Yeah, it's nice to step back into a bit of narrative gaming and a bit of fun. And we've been playing this game so long, it's like pulling on an old coat again, isn't it? It's a very relaxed way to hit the gaming vibe.
It really is. Relax is definitely the vibe, and I'm glad I can get relaxed with the two of you. I've even got my dressing gown tonight because it's getting into autumn quite quickly. So if I feel extra relaxed, I'll have my wine, my dressing gown, my two friends, more friends in chat, and my favourite story going. So Ben, why don't you get us all cozy by the fire and start us off?
All right. So things took a turn for the violent aboard the Seamstress, a giant liner and travelling buckyball pitch. Our heroes are aboard to provide private security for a group of cultists known as the Geeker Diaspora. At the moment, their main concern appears to be the fate of a young girl, Leah Hivia, who was delivered into the care of the cult and who appears to have psionic abilities, something more than frowned upon in the Imperium. With that in mind, they hatched a plan to welcome a Zodani agent aboard, in the hope that Leah can be taken to the Zodani consulate, where psionics are welcomed. To get her aboard, they did a little bit of sabotage to delay the liner's jump, which was successful, though it complicated their relationship with Security Chief Olivia Sharp. Meanwhile, the diaspora went hot tubbing, and the travellers set about protecting them from any threats. And it turned out there really was a threat. A human man attacked, opening fire and seriously wounding Rose, one of the crew of the Baltic Star. The man was killed by Agnar, but Kat, another one of their crew, was slightly injured by a grenade the man had rigged as a trap to catch anyone who moved his body. Agnar saved Rose's life with his medical skills, while one of the cultists provided first aid to Kat. The entire hot tub area was evacuated, and eventually the travellers began to escort the diaspora back to their quarters, just as the ship finally made its jump towards Geeka. It seems some of the passengers are very angry with the cult, and a dangerous situation on the main deck was settled as Soraya threatened an aggressive passenger with instant death, something that made him step back a pace or two. Some graffiti, not in a recognisable language, has been left on the outside of the lift down into the diaspora's quarters, possibly also a sign of discontent among the passengers. After safely getting their charges back to their staterooms, the party got one piece of good news. Zoe received word and reported to the rest of the crew, "We have an ally." And that is where we resume the story.
I don't know how anyone can hate the cult after that really good song they did. Right, so we got an ally. Going down. Who's on? Oh, it's Soraya downstairs, isn't it? Soraya's downstairs. Poor old drunken Rick is at the surface.
Yeah, Rick and Zoe are at the top, outside the lift at the top, and Stefan and Soraya downstairs at the bottom at the moment.
Oh yeah, Stefan's not quite gone to bed. Soraya will share a knowing look with Stefan, I guess.
That's all well and good, but you might have to tell me what it is in reference to knowing.
She shows him the message. Oh yeah, does he not know what? He knows nothing about the
Well, you probably
ally.
got the message, but
Yeah,
there's I'm sure they have a plethora of knowing looks for different situations
many knowing looks
between the two of them.
She'll catch a glimpse in his eye that suggests he thinks it's a knowing look for something else, and it's like a baseball pitcher in the backstop. She'll shake her head until he gets a different look. Then she'll shake her head at that one, and then she'll nod at the third one. The knowing look, and then
He'll head over, I guess. Once they're on the same wavelength, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then are we far enough away from the cult downstairs we could have a little whisper without them hearing us, Ben?
Yes, there's
Sort of
plenty of
nighttime,
space
isn't it?
down there, and the cult are mostly settling in for the rest of the night.
And we'll be lurking. I see us lurking sort of by the lift and sort of a table type area. So she'll sort of lower her voice and she'll say, looks like life's about to get even more interesting than it's just been.
Yeah. Do you think our friends are bored? Is that what was their? We didn't know their plan, did we? What's their plan?
The plan was to get the girl off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now that we're in jump, like it's very hard to get them off until we get out of jump, unless the plan is to our ally getting themselves and the girl ripped into a billion pieces and obliterated just by sort of trying to exit into the gift shop.
Is that the safest way off a shipping jump, Ben?
I've visualised that.
If you go
No,
through the gift shop, you'll be fine.
No, I visualised the seamstress, everyone queuing up just to get out, and they've all got to go through a gift shop with like really tacky rubbish. And all the kids are screaming at their parents, "Oh, buy me a buckyball miniature, buy me this."
Yeah.
Looking harassed from a week on holiday with the kids. So if, so if we've got to get her somehow, and hopefully the ally might have an idea or where they want her taken to. It's a long old time potentially to keep this child away,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's time to plan, and then towards the latter part of the week, I guess.
It would seem
you try and enact plan.
It feels like something you'd only get one chance at, like if a group like these know something's up, they're only going to close ranks, or they're going to who knows what they'll do to those that they think are turning against them,
I mean, that's what we do,
so
right?
far, but, oh yeah, we've been known to. Actually, it might be worth. That reminds me, I might drop Cara a message to look up to see if there's any knowledge of the faith getting violent or aggressive to anyone that turns against them. Seeing if they have a fair game policy for anyone that tries to leave or something.
That would potentially be more interesting. Anyone that's left. What stories of what happened to them? It all certainly makes things a lot more interesting here. Do we need a meet with our new friend, do you think?
I think it's got to be.
At some point, we need to get on the same page, I guess, right?
I think so. We need to find a place here. Maybe you're just finishing shift, aren't you now? Why don't you drop?
I've lost all track of time at the minute. I think I've been up.
Oh no, you're about to start.
Like 16 hours. I don't know what's going on.
Actually, you do need sleep because I think you're on after us. So you need to, and you've had a few, and you're covered in tomato juice.
I should at least get rid of the toga, I suppose.
I think so. It just doesn't feel right. Everything's gone serious now. But if you could double check with Zoe maybe on your way up about it, while I sort of keep an eye on these, and then grab yourself some sleep. You've only got about 3.5 hours now before you got to be up again.
I'll get Zoe to wait at the top of the lift for you when your shift finishes, and you can have a chat on the way back, maybe.
Oh, that's perfect. Thanks, man. You sleep well though. You look knackered.
Thanks. Listen, if you get back and I'm not awake, wake me up. You know the drill.
Oh, I do. I remember. Cold water and screaming by your ear really loudly. I got
That's
it.
The one.
Yeah. The classic.
The classic scout wake-up call.
Exactly.
Isn't that what you told me the first time you did it?
Exactly. Very cold and very loud. That's the scout wake-up. It stopped me from flying into many suns over the years. As I've drifted.
Thanks.
Yeah. Sleep well, man. I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah. And Stefan will head up. And he'll catch Zoe at the top of the lift shaft.
Yep, Zoe is just outside the lift. She's sort of walking a rough circle around it, not a particular pace, but keeping an eye on everything.
That's some method acting there, because I'm tired. He has a little stretch and just nods over to Zoe and walks over. Hey, Soraya wants a quick chat when you guys have finished with your shift. Can you just wait here for walk back to the rooms together? I just want to organise some stuff with our new friend.
Okay. I haven't heard anything since I heard what I heard.
Yeah, no worries. I think as As long as we're all on the same page, and then hopefully we can get them on the same page as well, and at least have some idea of what the plan is. That would put us all at ease a little bit. Hopefully you as well. I know you're quite invested.
I have a need to help this person.
Yeah. We can all understand that. And, we all want the best outcome, which I think, unless we're told otherwise, involves, some clear communication with
Agreed.
the third party.
And in the spirit of that, if we discover that the person who shot Rose isn't working alone, I'm probably going to need to dismember the people who he's working with.
Yes, I think that's another thing that we'd all be very interested in helping with. Us. We certainly like to look after our friends.
Yes, indeed.
To the best
So
of our ability.
it's just think on the basis that maybe we'll be flushing parts of them out of the ship or something. I have a great deal of anger in me at the moment.
We'll find an outlet. Don't worry, and he'll pat her on the shoulder. Right, but first I've got to get some sleep. Soraya, she's your contact at this point, I guess.
All right, is she coming up to me?
Yeah, when the shift's over, she'll come up to you.
All right.
I'll see you in, I don't know how long it is, Ben. Half an hour, maybe.
Not very long.
It's not a long time now, no.
And he'll hurry back to the rooms. He won't bother getting. He will, because he's in the toga. I was like, he won't bother getting changed. Yes, he will. He will definitely. He'll put his armor on before he goes to sleep, and get ready for his shift. Clean up a little bit, and then get some sleep. So he's ready to jump straight out of bed and go.
Okay. You catch a glimpse of Rick doing his sort of slightly wider patrol as you go, and he just nods as you head back into the lift. He doesn't seem to want to interrupt his walk, but they are at least trolling up there.
Yeah. Nice. And that's all I've got.
Okay.
Stefan, at this point, I think Luke is right. It has been a long time. He was not expecting something to kick off in the hot tubs. It's just going to be a nice wind down to an evening out with a few drinks before a short period of sleep, and then a shift guarding the cult. But now it appears it's even shorter.
Well, indeed.
We've all been there.
So, as the shift winds on, nothing seems to occur. There doesn't seem to be any sort of messages or alerts or anything like that. And it looks as if, for the next little while at least, you have a quiet night.
Cool. So if Soraya and Rick, I think they got on at about, the hot tub was like 2, wasn't it? And then after all the kerfuffle, it'd have been like 3:30 or something when they got on. So are we saying it's sort of 8 o'clock by the time that sort of come to an end, sort of the morning birds? Is that the sort of time in your head, Ben? Or a bit earlier, a bit later?
It's by the time you've had your quiet night, we're probably knocking on the door of 5 o'clock, I would guess.
5 o'clock. Okay, cool. During this time, Soraya sort of yawning at the table, sort of drinking the odd drink, making herself a little bit at home in the Colt's quarters. Going and grabbing something as needed, some leftovers of the celebrated feastly brunch and things that weren't eaten and cleared away. Message: she wants to send Kara the picture of the assailant as well, to see if anything IT can do. So Kara's had the message about finding out what happened to anyone that leaves the cult, and sort of the picture of the assailant as well to wake up to. And then she sort of does what she needs to do down there, does a bit of browsing on the futuristic internet about highlights of the geeks and and stuff about the upcoming game, all exciting stuff, trying to get buzzed for the game that's going on. Her heart's really not in it, but she's trying to. And then I guess is she okay to get to the shift? Does anything happen before the end of her shift, Ben, at this point?
No. It's been pretty quiet. Yeah.
So as it gets to the end of the shift, Savaya will go up in the lift to the next floor, and onto our floor where our lot are staying, and she's going to go into the I've got to get the right rooms. It's very important. The Jock's room where Stefan's sleeping with her and Rick, who's not in, of course. So she needs to get Stefan and Johnny, I believe, are up next. So she goes into the Jock's room, and then poor old Johnny, who Kara was annoying last night, and tries to wake Johnny up quite kindly, if that's okay.
Okay. Yes. He rolls over in bed and opens his eyes and says, "My turn."
Surah smiles and sort of pats him on the shoulder and hands over the hot caffeinated drink that she made on the way in. It says, "Fraser, keep doing us proud, Johnny. You're doing a great job."
Thanks.
I'll just go and get I'll go and get Stefan. Okay. Remember, are you still the bailiff today, or was that a 1-day thing? Is that a lifetime role?
I don't know the extent to which it lasts. I'm just wondering if I can justify protecting this bed rather than anything else, but probably not, right?
No, I think we've got the bed covered. I'm afraid, mate. I think you're off onto the pointy end of things. I'll go and get Stefan, and I'm sure between the two of you can decide who's where. But I'm guessing bed is not going to be one of the two options.
Yeah, probably not.
Hey, socks. And then so I pad through in sort of the shared kitchen area or whatever, and pours a glass of water. Leaves the water a little bit longer to get it super cold. Get nice and cold. And then heads into hers and Stefan and Rick's room, and of course he's the only one in there. Closes the door behind, and then slowly, carefully pours some water. Pulls down his sheet, pulls some water around his crotch area, and then leans over his face and pours it all over his face and whispers in his ear, "Stefan, it's time to wake up. Stefan, 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 it's time to wake up." It keeps getting louder and louder and louder.
Oh, I'm up. I'm awake, at least. Oh, that's real mature.
Are you all right, Steve?
Every time. You can't just throw it in my face, can you?
She's cackling and nods down at his groin. Could you not hold it in, Stefan? Come on, that's embarrassing, mate. You're 34 years old.
Now I've got to go and look after the diaspora looking like this. It hardly gives off a professional image, does it?
You're the master.
I haven't even been in the bathroom yet. Is there a hand dryer? Or do we just have those stupid towels?
It's a full-featured and fairly modern fresher, as you'd expect on a cruise liner. There's no difficulty finding a way to dry yourself, but obviously clothing does take a little bit longer.
Thanks for the sub, by the way, Sucks. 15 months is
15 months.
not to be sniffed at.
That's excellent. Thank you,
a
Sock.
quarter.
Unlike a laptop. He'll find a hairdryer. There's got to be a hairdryer, right? For all those Aslan and Vargas and people that like to dry their hair. He'll just stand there sipping a glass of water, hair drying his crutch.
So I will pat him on the back and just say to him, I left some of the last night's brunch just out there for you if you need any on the way. I'll leave you and Stefan to it. I'll go and have a word with Zoe. Then I'll go wake Cara up. Then I'm going to go to bed.
Me and Johnny.
Yeah. Is that what I said?
No.
I
mean, we're alike. We're quite alike.
Okay. Cool. Okay. I'll see you later.
Enjoy the buckyball.
Oh, well, yeah. If I can get a snooze in, I can get there for the start. Perfect.
Snooze during it if you want to optimise your time.
How very dare you! Very angry. I'll tell you what, you can need a boon if you keep being mean to me like that. I'll tell you.
Thanks,
fighting words. And just
Stefan won't waste too much time. He'll then leave. Go for it, Luke.
Poops is in this is the house. Hey Poops, how you doing?
Hey, Andrew Pops.
Us. Are you doing okay? Are you feeling better this week? I hope you're doing well. Joy, it's nice having you in a bit early because you're not on the old thingy stream tonight. What a joy. The raid. So you did raid with the prompt. Well, thank you for coming over though. We appreciate you. That's okay. Thank you for making your way anyway. We do like that. You missed Sarai playing the old trick of pouring water on Stefan's wine while he's sleeping, certainly. But, you don't get that high quality everywhere.
It's less a trick and more just something funny that happened.
She then goes through and wakes Cara up in a relatively kind way, knowing that Cara's grumpy in the morning, quite frankly. But to let her know, hey Cara.
It's that autistic temperament, you know.
She really is. It's far too early. It's not even midday yet. She hands Cara a coffee and some sunglasses, and some pain pills, and just says, "Hey, I left you some. Some messages, okay, for today," and just sort of hits Cara snooze for her before she's even pressed it, so she can have another 20 minutes, and then heads up to Zoe.
Okay.
If Zoe's still upstairs.
Yeah, she is. And she's
pirate.
She's visibly you can see as you approach that she's clearly got a bit of a grump on.
Oh, Zoe, what's up? What's up, my friend?
There are some very annoying people here.
There are now.
How dare you? From what I can see, as in directly around, or am I going to push further into the conversation? Right, are there literally people frowning at us, Ben, as Sarai comes up?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Has anything happened during the early hours, Zoe?
Nothing big. I had to shove a couple of people and shout at a couple of people.
People definitely know where they need to go for this now, don't they? It's not great. They've been made. Thing is, I guess, although that's our paid mission, it's not our primary mission now, let's face it.
Yeah. And I now have another primary mission, so, it's getting complicated.
Just too many primary missions.
Yeah.
You wait days for one and suddenly two come along at once. Well, one of our primary missions is going to directly go against our paid mission. And at some point, we're going to have to decide how we're going to break it to them, quite frankly.
Yeah, I feel that might be at the end of the trip when we're parting company.
I think, like, I'm sure you know as little as us about our ally and what's happening. I'm sure it's a we'll know when we know kind of thing. But it feels like we're only going to get one shot to get her to safety, and we don't want to, and we want to make sure we're ready for that.
Yeah, I agree. We don't want to miss our chance.
Okay, what I've before I go to bed, I've been messaging Cara. She's gonna she's looking some stuff up when she gets up about the diaspora, and she's gonna have a look at the photo to see if she can run anything through records as well about this guy. Just try and catch anything, and like the second she knows, do you want to know, or do you want at least a couple of hours sleep if you're still asleep?
I'll probably be more used to you if I've had some sleep.
Okay. Well, Cara will keep going. I'll tell her that if she does find something quick, we'll let you sleep for a bit, and then yeah. But if we find something out, you'll definitely be in the know, and we'll work out who this guy is, and if he worked alone, if he's got some friends on here, people that we need to deal with. But man, you look knackered.
And all because the lady loves milk tray.
Is there anything you need to tell me, or are you ready for bed?
I've got no new information beyond the fact that you may have to get a bit verbal with some of the people who come along and loiter about here. They are very, very irritating, and tragically, none of them pulled a weapon or anything.
Any excuse, any chance?
Give them a reason.
Okay.
I was perfectly happy to walk around here hip deep in blood, but they're not giving me any justification for that kind of violence.
So, this really is affecting you, though, isn't it? I'm not surprised, of course, because it is me, but I've never quite seen you quite like it. But it's Rose, isn't it? It's Rose.
Once we find out what happened, there's going to be a reckoning.
It might be worth also getting Cara to smooth things with Sharp beforehand. Then keep her. Not tell her what's happening, but keep her sweet.
Sure. It would be a shame if she got killed in the crossfire, for example.
Exactly. That's cool. And Agnar's getting on very well with her as well. She's been falling into water, dancing around, fake limping. She loves him now. Anyway, you go down. I'll wait up here. I'll send Rick down as well, and I'll wait for whether it's Stefan or Johnny that comes up. I'll tell him what you told me about being verbal, and I'll speak to you soon. You take care, yeah?
Will do. She walks over and taps Rick on the shoulder. He's looking bleary-eyed and not really focusing on much. And she sort of puts an arm on his shoulder and steers him towards the lift back down.
Oh man, he must be. He's gone for his drunken phase and his hangover without sleep. The poor guy.
He's not used to this kind of duty, to be honest, but he's willing.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He's tried hard. I like that. Soraya lurks up at the top of the lift until whoever it is, Ewan, comes up, I guess.
Okay. So who is coming up to the top with because you've got 4 people on duty, but who's going to be where?
That is a very good question. I think Stefan will stay at top.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep. So
He was
Stefan
down
and
there last
Soraya.
time. He wants to avoid a bit of the
Sorry, Stefan and Kara up top, or
Kara's not on shift until the next time. That's why she's going to do the computer
oh,
stuff. We've only
yeah,
got two
okay.
on shift at a time generally. We had three,
Stefan,
but that was
Johnny.
Rose.
Mhm.
Just Stefan and Johnny we had,
Yeah.
Yep.
which meant that Stefan and Soraya will be sleeping or busy, and it'll be Kara and Agnar sort of up doing stuff, I guess.
So Stefan will say to Johnny, what? I mean, we kind of know, don't we, from last time we were here, but we should be okay just taking the lift. What do you reckon if we both stay up here? Or is it worth having someone down there?
Well, I mean, you've got fairly obviously people that you can keep an eye on up top, but you might not need two people there. I suppose the question is whether you need someone to actually keep an eye on the diaspora themselves.
That's a good point. What do you reckon? Do you fancy going down? I'm not sure I haven't had much sleep. I'm not sure I can function much as a, in polite conversation. But it's your call.
A liaison. So that's Johnny. It's Johnny, isn't it?
Yeah. So Johnny is perfectly happy to go wherever you want. So if you want him up top, that's fine. He'll walk around in circles. If you want him down at the bottom, that's fine too.
Cool. Thanks, Johnny. You go down. I'll take the top of the lift.
All right. I'll go and make all of the coffee.
Thanks.
Soraya hops in the lift with him. Oh no, because he's sorry. As Stefan gets to the top, I guess. Soraya will sort of tell Stefan what Zoe told her. Keep an eye out, get verbal. She can tell he's grouchy anyway, so it's like, don't hold back. Give words. If there's anything, message any of us, but a call out if you need some backup. I'm knackered. I'm going to get some sleep, and she heads down in the lift to bed.
Okay.
Following Rick, I guess. So.
All right. So we've got Johnny at the bottom of the lift shaft. We've got Stefan at the top.
Yeah.
And during this time, we've also got Kara up and doing things.
Yes.
So do you want to do what Kara's doing now?
Yeah, we can do. Yes. So Kara slowly wakes up from her thing. First thing she'll do is she won't go into his room, but she'll drop Agnar a message. He might be fast asleep, but she just drops him a message that says, "Hey hero, you may not have destroyed many worlds last night, but you definitely saved a life. Good on you." And then sort of gets onto the computer. And there's a couple of things she's going to start with coffee in hand, and any nuts that she can find in a little bowl next to her, which might need time, Ben, I guess. So yes. So there's two things I'd like to do, in whatever order works best, I guess. She knows the chips quite well now, doesn't she? Because her and Zoe and Sharp have pretty much gone through all of them, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
At a certain level, anyway. So on that, I want to look up. So on the chips, I want to look up about the organisation, about fair game. If there's news about people leaving, if there's any rumours about things leaving, Reddit stories, that sort of. There'd be nothing official, I'd imagine, but little trails about what they're like. If there's murkiness, and then the other thing she'll want to check, of course, is run a face recognition against the very average photo she got from Soraya. I leave it to you as the brains of the computer to tell me how it's going to work. But
okay, so this is the picture Soraya took of the dead guy, which was okay, not great. I'm going to suggest that search might be much the more complicated effort. The other one is almost a browsing activity.
Cool. Yeah.
Sort of following leads and things like that. So let's do a quick electronics computing check with your +1 bonus.
Yeah.
First of all, for the image search.
Cool. I've got to. I haven't been on Kara's sheet for weeks. It feels right. Hang on. Electronics computing. Yes. Plus education or intellect. It's normally one of those, isn't it?
It's in this case, I'm tempted to say it should be education.
Yep, makes sense. Almost thrown visual media in that somehow, but I don't know how you would.
But that's why I think education's a better choice, because
it's what
you've actually got some training in this kind of search.
Yes, it's like her college stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really? So yeah,
it would be sort of in her hitting zone.
Nice. So, and then my +1 on the computer. Okay, that's a +5. That's good. We'll see. It's middle of the road 7 +5 is 12.
Is a 12.
Yeah, the +5 is very good.
+5.
It's like Agnar doing his first. It's like Agnar doing his first aid.
Can you roll 1d6 for me, please?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't know this. I think this is very bad. It's 5.
5. Okay.
I think high's bad.
The search starts on all of the data systems that you have access to locally on the ship. Remember, you're in jump now, so you can't hunt planetary databases. And it seems to be progressing slowly, but you'll pick it up in about 4 or 5 hours.
Okay. That's good. The hard thing was getting it started. I'll go back and see what's going on after.
Yeah. Now, while that's going on, you can also do a check for any. You can basically browse on. You can even browse on your communicator looking for stories about people leaving the Geeker diaspora. So you're looking for almost personal blogs and reminiscences and rumors and comments, anything like that.
Yeah, exactly, that sort of stuff. Because you won't get the truth through the official stuff with this.
Then in that case, I don't think this is actually a computing check. I think this is an investigation check.
Oh,
but she's got great social media experience.
Yeah, that is true.
You're right.
She is Cara Alaska. She is Cara Alaska.
She is Cara Alaska of the vlogging community. So I think this is investigation with intellect.
Yep. Okey-dokey.
But because of her talents, I'm going to make it an easier check. Yeah.
Oh, you're a good man. Thank you. She's
because
all about
of Luke's amazing role playing.
She's got very good. Finally, it comes to pass. And she's going to philosophize about it as well. Right. So it's a minus. Believe it or not, she has no investigation skills. But what you've said really makes me want to. When we can finally get some training in, I'm going to put a little asterisk next to that. That is a really. None of us have got it really. I don't think, have we? Check. That's a really.
Agnar's got 1.
It's a really fun little skill. I'm liking it. That's really fun. It doesn't help with the fact that she would die immediately in a combat, but still, it's all right. Priorities. There's enough. There's walls in the galaxy, in there. That's all right. Right. So
bound to be.
It's a -3 for that and a +2 for her intelligence.
Okay.
So it depends how hard it is. Hopefully it's not too hard because that was a 9, but 9 - 1 is an 8.
Okay. And can you roll 1d6 for me, please?
Yep. That's a 4.
Okay. About half an hour of browsing around, and you don't find a lot of first-hand testimony at all. That you can't find anything that seems to be written, posted, or suggested by anyone who personally left the Geeker diaspora. But there's a mountain of comments about the Geeker diaspora, and lots of people posting locally on the ship about finding that they are sharing the vessel with the diaspora and repeating rumors they've heard. So I suppose it comes down to how much validity you give to those second-hand, third-hand rumors. But the sense you get is that the cult is not popular, at least not among the passengers on this liner. They have rumors about all sorts of activities, from corruption to really, really dark stuff. But you can't seem to find anything from anyone who has direct personal experience.
Interesting. She's an open-minded person, in as much as she's very wily with the ways of social media, and she knows that although there's a lot of nonsense around, there is sometimes truth in rumor, I guess. So she makes a mental note of these things. The corruption stuff, we already know they run the Earth Park heartbreakingly so. Spez has got a bag in real life of a wonderful resort owned by a cult, which is absolutely hilarious. So yeah, so she sort of makes a note of all the things, jots it all down on a little pad to pay attention to it. And are there any that come up more often than not, or is it a real hit and miss spread of whispers and rumors?
It's fairly random, but the most common threads you get are what I suppose you might call are fairly typical of what you would know cults to be rumored to be like. Yeah. Not necessarily is it true that all cults are like this, but the suggestion is that members give up all of their possessions and surrender contact with anyone outside and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of rumors suggesting it is difficult or impossible to leave the cult once you join it. But these feel very much like the kinds of things that people say about all cults, whether or not the cult in question is like that, if you see what I mean.
I do see what you mean. I do absolutely see what you mean. She nods sagely to herself while slurping another drink, and then closes the laptop, packs it away, gets up, gets dressed. Her armor is not the heaviest armor of it, so I see it as slightly less bulky, and she's actually going to wear it because of the mood, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. She's got a vac suit. She's not going to put, because the vac suit's big and bulky in it.
But, yes, it is.
But cloth armor, she's still got some cloth armor in her supplies, which is much more wearable, isn't it?
So. Yeah, cloth armor is, it depending on its tech level and things like that, it can be quite bulky and padded in places, but it is fairly discreet. If you can't wear it sort of under clothing unless you were really going for baggy, but it's not obscenely bulky.
Yeah. she'll pull that on and then grab a really big she's got an idea of what she'll do with it, but she gets that. She grabs a few of her hand weapons into her stuff and grabs her bag and so on, and then goes and knocks on Agnar's door to see if he's awake.
Okay. Just 1 second. Okay. Just as you're about to do that, Agnar is in fact receiving a call on the communicator.
He's just been getting himself ready, so he's all ready for the day. He's about to put the boots on for his combat armor, and he'll pick up the phone. Yeah, hello, Agnar Anson.
General, Olivia Sharp.
Sharp, hello. How are you? Recovered?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Just cleaning off the spatulas we used to get your latest friend off the turf.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant our actual, the one that was actually our friend. That would have been somewhat callous of you. But no, yes, of course.
I'd like to have a quick word with you, if that's all right. And you can do that in my office, or I can come and see you. Which do you prefer?
I don't mind. Is this an in-person word?
Yeah, it should be face to face.
Okay. Whatever's easiest for you. I'm just getting ready. I've got a bit of free time before my shift, so I'm at your disposal.
It would probably be easier for me if you came to my office.
Okay, perfect. Do you want me to bring anything? I'm going to pick up some breakfast or first brunch on the way over.
No, thank you. That's very kind, but I've got all the bad coffee I need.
You got any fish milk though?
Fish milk latte. Yeah, no, perfect. I'll just finish up getting ready and, as I say, grab some breakfast and be straight over.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
My pleasure.
And she hangs up.
Puts his phone away and finishes putting his boots on, his little booties. Grabs the shotgun and
Changed my view.
A few shells, and he's looks himself up and down in the mirror, and I think he's ready to go.
Excellent. And it's at about this point that there is a knock on the door.
Enter.
And Cara opens the door and she comes in. Hey, hero, how are you?
Sorry, I was just replying to your message. I just had a phone call. I've been getting ready.
You say you were just replying.
No.
It said that you read it 20 minutes ago.
Well, yes, but I was prioritizing my workload. I need this whole thing doesn't take 10 minutes to get on. I'll have you know.
Fair enough.
Listen, I think hero is a bit of a strong word. It's just doing my job, the skills that I'm good at.
Everything I was reading this morning when I woke up was that yeah, you single-handedly saved the day. I may not have been there, but the way it was sold to me, Soraya basically painted you as like some ancient Greek god.
Well,
is it true you were topless and oiled up?
That may be an exaggeration. I mean, can you imagine this fur if it was oiled up?
Oh, that'd explain the 20 minutes that you didn't reply to me for.
Oh well, exactly. Although it would make the armor a lot easier to get on, I feel.
You'd be cooking in the heat.
Anyway, I just had a call from Sharp. She wants a word in her office.
Okay.
Which seems weird because we had several words on the phone. But I guess she knows what she's doing.
She's a fan of face to face.
So yeah, it makes me somewhat nervous that she's either, or she's going to get body language experts to look at us while we're answering awkward questions. These security types.
You fall apart when there's awkward questions as well. Historically,
well,
you can't lie. A very bad liar.
I was in the army, not the not the intelligence community.
Oh wow! A lot of people say that the generals don't have the intelligence. They rely on others for that. Not me though. Not me though, Agner. Not me though. You were never an active general anyway. That was your honorary title, of course.
I should.
I remember the party well. I remember the hangover even better.
The hangover was good. It was a good hangover, that's to be said. Anyway, I'm going to head over there now. I'm going to pick up some breakfast or some brunch on the way. Do you want to join me? Make sure I don't fall apart at any awkward questions. You know what us generals are like.
Indeed. I just tell the truth. That's my problem. I'll come along. If she doesn't let me in, that's fine. I wanted to go and see Rose. I got that message, which was horrific, and I wanted to get to the med centre and sort of, even if she's not seeing people, poke my head in. It'd be lovely to grab some flowers or a little cuddly toy or something and hand it over to her.
Certainly some brunch. Have you seen the crap that they call food in those medical centres? That
is true. Well, it sounds like we can kill two birds with one stone then. If you like, if we're going to head out anyway.
Indeed.
Fantastic.
Let's go. And we ? Leave.
Okay.
For brunch.
If you are, if you're going to see Rose, you'd be walking the opposite direction, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Rose is in the medical centre, which is towards the rear of the ship.
Oh, the back of the ship, yeah.
Yeah, back of ship.
Back of ship, yeah.
On
Sharp's at the front of ship.
Sharp is at front of ship, yes.
Front of ship, yeah. Cara says to Agnar, I suppose I can at least come and sit in the waiting room, and then we can do both together. Do you fancy it? If we do, does Sharp sound quite keen? Rose isn't going anywhere.
I don't know, to be honest. Let's do Sharp first. I'm sure it won't take too long, and we'll both swing by and check up on Rose when we're done, if that's all right with you.
Sounds like a perfect morning to me.
Wonderful. I suppose in that case we'll get brunch on the way from front of ship to back of ship. Should we go straight to Sharp's? She didn't want anything.
Yeah, I just want to grab something to wear over this armor. It's a little bit conspicuous. I need something really baggy.
I can't remember the last time I saw you wearing that.
Well, I never wear it around serious, do I? I only wear it when there's trouble going down. But I'm feeling edgy today. Everything I was reading when I woke up, and everything I've been reading about the cult today. Like they say, don't read stuff before you go to bed. It's like don't read stuff when you first wake up.
Is that a thing?
That's what they say. Like, don't scare yourself, man. Give yourself dreams. But I'm giving myself some bad daydreams here with this cult. Everything I'm hearing about the people, the cult, everything. I'm just on edge. Hence,
there's definite tension in the air.
For sure. And I'm not a big beefy boy like you. I'm a delicate flower.
That is true.
So yeah, if we can swing by a merch store on the way up, that'd be fantastic.
Wonderful. I'm sure we'll find one somewhere between here and front of ship.
It's a long way to front of ship.
Long way to front of ship, yeah. There's no shortage of merch stalls if what you're looking for is, a Dilla Brew t-shirt kind of thing.
She wants like a big De La Rue hoodie, if that's okay. Long sleeve, if possible.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Cool.
Don't let Soraya see where I'm at.
It's for the. I don't want to stand out. We're on a De La Rue, and we've got business now. We're kind of honorary De La Rue.
Oh yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
We're Le Rue, I believe they call us now as people from De La Rue. I don't know. I made that up, but
But I like it.
I like it. That's why we
I
call
want a
myself
LaRue t-shirt.
La Rue. How much am I paying for that hoodie, Ben?
25.
That's very good. She takes it on and she immediately puts it over, big and baggy over the top of the armor, and pulls the hood up over her head a bit, casual rather than sort of tying it tight and looking suspicious. And she's got a backpack.
She's not
on.
Kennying it.
No, exactly. He's up, pulled tight, and she tries to look as cash as she can, I guess, as she wanders with Agnar, who's just proudly wearing his combat armor.
Yeah, combat armor, shotgun.
Yep. Yeah, he's basically a walking tank.
He got the message. Don't pull any punches.
Yeah.
Get verbal. But he can read between the lines of this sort of situation.
Yes, indeed. Well, you make your way forward. You don't seem to notice much in the way of people sort of glaring at you or anything once you're away from the diaspora's quarters. Whatever their anger is doesn't seem to be intrinsically transferable, or at least not for most of them. And the route to the sort of hot tub area is now open. The hot tubs appear to have reopened, and you get into the lift, which will take you past them down towards Sharp's office.
Yeah.
You do notice, however, as you head down in the lift, that one little area of the hot tub section has been roped off. And there are a couple of security guards standing over it. And that is where the firefight happened and where the grenade went off. But it's a relatively small section of the huge hot tub area. And then you get down to the level of the security offices and much of the admin side, and the lift doors open and you can step out.
Yeah.
Age before beauty.
That makes me slightly uncomfortable, but thank you. And Agnar will step out. And if I remember, there's a long corridor with Sharp's office at the end.
Sharp's office is right at the end of that corridor,
right,
with other offices and conference rooms and things like that spanning off both sides.
Sorry.
So you can make your way down. Nobody's going to stop you.
Cool. As we walk down, Agnar will just say to Kara, it still seems weird that this is the central hub of security, and I can just walk in here in my combat armor with my shotgun in hand, and nobody blinks an eye.
To be honest,
until we get to a door.
Yeah, but that's it. Then they're just assuming you're going to fall over and hurt yourself at any minute. That's every time Sharp sees you. That's what you're doing.
I'm sure they've all heard the stories. I did ask her to delete the CCTV footage though, so fingers crossed. I
heard there were rumours that it's looping in the VIP sections and in some of the bars.
It better not be. I've got a reputation,
Rick swore blind on the message I got this morning.
I did that to buy time for you people. It better not come back to bite me.
I'm sure he's just joking.
Anyway, I think we're here.
Okay. As you approach, Sharp actually opens the door before you even reach it, and gives a sort of thin smile, not exactly the most welcoming, but friendly enough, professional enough. And says, "General, thank you for joining me. I almost didn't recognize you upright. And I see you brought a friend."
Kara gives a very over-the-top smile and wave and says, "Do you want me to wait outside?"
No, we're not doing espionage. It's fine.
Okay. Well, I wore the hood for it. I guess I've wasted time. She pulls the hood down and traipses in after them.
Okay. She shuts the door and then wanders around behind her desk and sits down. And she says, "So, once again, you've decided to see if our morgue is a fully functioning piece of the ship, which, I appreciate. It's always good to have a test every now and then. But I do need to ask you just a few questions."
Yes, of course. I'm sure formalities.
So-
It must be handy having all the ice on board.
It is a useful thing, yes. But it's not really the main function of the ski resort.
No, sure. Pleasure and ice for cocktails, I'd imagine. Please, sorry, do go on.
She punches up a few images
Punch it
taken of the dead man, and you can see his form pretty clearly in them. He's been stripped of what was left of his protective armored clothing, and he's pretty wrecked by the gunshot and then the explosion. His face is quite badly damaged. His body is very badly damaged in the middle of the torso. But there are quite a sort of slideshow of images of detail of various parts of him. And she puts this up on a screen and then turns to you and says, "So, first question, do you know who this person is?"
I don't. I don't, do I, Ben? We established that last.
No, you have
Last
no
bit.
idea.
No, not somebody that I'm familiar with or have ever seen before. Even, state considered.
So the first time you saw him was when he was shooting at you.
Yeah, or just after, or shooting at my colleague, I suppose would be more accurate. But yes.
And the security tape basically suggests that he came around the side of the slope until he had a clean shot towards the diaspora. He drew a weapon. One of your crew shouted a warning. He opened fire and hit one of your team. You responded and killed him. After that, we have the explosion a little later. But as far as we're concerned, the key important fact is that he'd already opened fire and hit someone before you returned fire. That's very good news for the purposes of the form filling. Not so good is this. We have absolutely no record of this person. We don't know their name. We can't identify where they were staying on board. The members of the security team, because of his significantly overweight frame and slightly porcine features, have taken to calling him Piggles. in the absence of any other identifier. But that's all we know.
I suppose there were two important things that spring to my mind. Sorry, I hate to divulge. Would you rather finish first?
No, if you've got information, I'd like to hear it.
No, not information. Hardly information. It's more questions. You should know us by now. I suppose the questions I would ask would be why were they not, if they were so intent of fulfilling their goal that they had strapped explosives to themselves, why would they not be happy to take fire from my team and to shoot at the person that they were after in the first place? And on top of that, I guess you've run the usual. You know, I'm sure last time when we were here, we had some. You had some pretty heavy DNA available evidence. Have you pursued that and run it past? I suppose we can't run it past any databases, can you? Whilst we're in jump.
Only information we've got about people on the ship, and we don't really have much to compare it to. No.
Ooh.
But your first question is a perfectly good one. There are things that I can't tell you about what we've discovered, but I strongly suspect the reason he opened fire on your team rather than the diaspora is I don't think he expected the weapon that you had to be able to go through his armor.
What was, if you don't mind me asking, what was he wearing?
I don't mind you asking broadly. It was some fairly high density combat armor. It would have required a fairly meaty weapon to take him down.
By broadly, you mean you don't want me to ask where this armor came from directly?
Well, it's not so much that. Let me show you what I mean. And she walks up to her office door and opens it and sort of beckons for you to follow to a room a little way down the corridor.
Agnar looks to Kara and sort of shrugs.
Motions a hand for him to go first.
I suppose we're in now, aren't we? Let's go. You'll follow.
You enter another room. There's a security officer there who you've seen before, actually. You had a sort of little cheery comment and wave with at one point. And he is walking around making notes about a very familiar looking set of quite broken armor. And Sharp nods to him and says, "Okay, Filton, the room, please." And he scarpers out and closes the door. And she points to the armor, and you can very clearly see where your shot went in and then where the grenade detonated. And she looks at it and she says, This isn't the kind of stuff you buy off a catalogue. At least, I don't think so. Not something I've seen before, but you guys have been around a bit. Any clues?
Ooh. Do we recognise? Is it similar to anything any of us have pulled on, or any of our crew have pulled on?
I would like you to roll. I'm tempted to say you can roll a relevant military skill or investigation with intellect. So you've got a relevant military skill that is directly related to technology, weaponry. You can use that for this.
Would you allow?
Yeah.
Sorry, Luke.
Okay, I was just saying we're both doing this. I'm guessing a yes, because we're both looking at it. Sorry.
I mean, I'd like to think that Agnar has a fair understanding of certainly combat armor that would be used within his unit, and potentially anything that he's come across on the opposite side of the battlefield. Would you allow military tactics for this? Given the nature of heavily armored infantry units.
You know what? Given that tactics is an observation skill, yes. It's the one that bolsters initiative. So yeah, I think that would make sense.
With intellect, did you say?
With intellect, please, yeah.
I don't think I can ask for for anything.
I'm also going to use my crit fail boon. I'm just
okay.
Oh, the boon!
Thanks, crit fail. This feels like a good one.
If only I had investigate. I've got nothing. Philosophy, the ability to play an instrument, some drunken carousing, and some gambling, and the ability to serve some drinks. That's about as far as Kara's going.
Right, and
she didn't even spend any time in the military. She only knows what she wears and what her crew wears, if I'm being totally honest about her.
And Kara wasn't a scout, was she?
She was not. She was she was an art student.
Yeah,
slightly different.
It is slightly different.
Didn't tend to wear too much armor in my day job.
I'm afraid that's going to be rolling with a -3. Then I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. I was going to say, my education, intellect, and social is not going to help that at all, because it's nothing to do with it. She did crit fail some beautiful landscapes. I painted a lot of soldiers. I painted a lot of soldiers when I was detached with Agnar.
Yes, you did.
When she was a propagandist.
Yeah, that won't help.
What did you get, Ewan?
Well, thanks to crit fail, I dropped the 1, which was my lowest dice.
Well done, crit.
Well done indeed. I rolled a 10. +3 is 13.
A 13.
Yeah.
Which is
seems
good.
Much better.
I'm glad you did this. Add this to the cheat dice roll, Paul. It's a 5. -3 is a 2.
Oh.
A 2. Excellent. I'm sure at this point you're quite glad this wasn't a task chain, aren't you?
Yes.
So, Kara carefully examines the armor and determines that it exists.
Or does it? Philosophy roll.
It is, in fact, 3-dimensional and sits there on a table.
It physically exists, but it doesn't emotionally exist.
Possibly not.
No.
However, Agnar, yes, you have seen something like this before. Not exactly this, but you have seen something like this before. You have a little bit of experience of meeting dignitaries from other societies and other civilizations. And though it's not exactly common, you have seen armor like this on special forces and sort of bodyguards for very senior Varga, where they have within the sort of Varga civilization, their various sort of factional families and areas. The Varga extents. Within that patrol area, there are wealthy Varga families, and sometimes they have quite substantial militaries. And in this case, some of them have very specialized protective gear, and it is more than a little reminiscent of that.
Okay. Are we talking I've seen something similar. This is on a similar tech level but a different faction style, or is this more advanced or less advanced than?
It's not necessarily more advanced than Imperial stuff. It is a different style, certainly, but it is of a nature you've seen some of these wealthy Varga pay exorbitant amounts of money for their special soldiers. And usually those haven't been as bulky as this. This seems to be a heavier, bulkier version of the same thing. In style, at least.
Okay. Agnar will look over at Kara and he'll sort of think to himself for a minute, I suppose, and then look at Sharp and say, "Yeah, I've seen this before," and he'll divulge pretty much all the information that you've just given. Noble high Varga families will give this to their special forces equivalent troops. Although, I mean, I don't know much about this guy's muscle mass, but it didn't necessarily look like the type from where I was sitting. I may be wrong.
She nods thoughtfully and then reaches down and picks up the main sort of body section, lifts it in her left hand and just tosses it casually and catches it in her right and puts it back down on the table and says, "This is not like anything I've seen before. But thank you. I have no idea what I can do with that information. But I was thinking we were dealing with some disgruntled lunatic who just wanted to cause a fuss and go after the diaspora. And now I'm looking at some really bad scenarios if this guy's got this kind of equipment."
To me, it begs the question: why would a noble Varga family go after the diaspora? Why would they throw so much money and armor at them? I mean, I try to think how much that costs.
Yeah, and why would they give armor like that to a human?
Is that something that Agnar would be? Would he know that is a done thing, or would he know that is not a done thing?
Yeah, he would know that by nature Varga nobility tend to have Varga bodyguards, Varga troops, Varga everything. In the Varga extents, humans come and go, but they come and go. They don't generally live there as part of the sort of main Varga factions. So it is it is unlikely that this person works directly for a Varga family. Yeah. It would probably have been a custom armor order bought and paid by somebody.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess you could get some grunts to see how well the armor actually fits him. Maybe he just fortuitously killed off a Varga noble family's special forces guy and happened to be large enough to fit into the armor. I mean, let's be honest, most humans could fit into the armor I'm wearing, but not necessarily comfortably.
Yeah, I imagine it
There
would
might be
a
bit of wiggle room.
yeah.
Maybe he put on the weight.
Weird in places, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not the main point of the investigation, but worth a thought.
Yes, it is. Well, it's worth bearing in mind. So we have no idea who Piggles was. We don't know where he got his armor, but it's obviously extremely expensive. His weapon is, well, it's pretty decent. It's pretty modern, not quite as exotic as the armor, but it's a good weapon. And yet he's a random suicide attacker of a cult. It just doesn't
Add up.
feel right to me.
My last 2 points, because I feel I'm borrowing Paul Cara here. Are there any identification marks for the Varga family on the armor? And do you have any noble Varga traveling on this leg of the journey? I know you did when we were last on board.
Cara pipes up the Taraks for last time, and they were trouble last time.
She says, we've looked for all kinds of markings on the armor. Not only don't there appear to be any identifiers for Varga families or anything really, there isn't even a serial number. As for Varga, we have some aboard, of course, some in this room, in fact. But no.
Add him to the list.
Ben and I have been chatting all week, Luke.
No.
Sorry, go on.
But no. No high-ranking nobles. No.
Oh, okay. Might be worth checking his belt. It was belts, wasn't it, from last time?
Yes.
Might be worth checking his belt underneath the armor, just for any identifying marks. I know that was, I don't know if you remember last trip, but that was a definite thing.
Thank you. I'll make sure they look into it.
Just an idea.
It's a good one.
As a Varga.
Yeah, it could well be. I mean, it could be a very good idea. I'll get them to go through everything that we can. Thank you for your assistance.
Not at all.
I think that's everything I have for the time being, but there may be more questions. How's your injured friend doing?
One of them sleeping it off, I believe. I popped my head in. She'll be okay. The other one, we're just about to go and visit. In fact, do you want us to send a get well soon message from you?
Well, yeah, please send her my best.
That's cool. I was going to buy a little cuddly toy. Shall I buy one and say it's from you?
Well, you don't have to do that.
You know, I should feel appreciative of it. I feel.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. I'll let you know anything that I think is relevant to your security duties. And obviously, we're going to keep investigating and see what we can find.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just the armor. Would this have been allowed on the ship? No questions asked when you sort of scan things in and check things over.
We don't generally concern ourselves with protection items at all. People are entitled to wear whatever armor amuses them. It's weapons we care more about.
It's weird. If you wanted if you were an assassination, and you're a highly skilled assassin, surely you'd do better than walking around a corner and pulling a trigger on a group randomly with a grenade strapped to you. If you were a total pro, right? You'd find a way to do it from afar or when no one's around, or you'd pick your moment. I know moments will be limited.
This feels like a message.
Yeah, it feels more like a message. Yeah, it does. It feels more like a message.
In which case, I'm having difficulty understanding what it says.
We'll think about it too. Just we're trying to make sense, I guess, of everything that's gone on. You know. But like the cult are not the most loved group around, but this just seems very, with the armor as well. It seems more than, like you say, more than just a disgruntled person taking the chance.
I suppose that's another point, is who knew they were going to be on board, because this isn't somebody who happened to stumble on board and find themselves on the same ship as a cult, whilst they had in their possession their Varga noble family army and a half-decent gun.
Oh, that's one of Ewan's great moments again.
Obviously, we don't divulge the identity of people who buy tickets on our cruises.
Sure.
But, I can't speak to who they might have told about their plans.
That's fair enough. Interesting. Perhaps it's an IT problem, Kara. And Agnar will shoot a wink over.
You always say everything's an IT problem when it gets too confusing.
Not problem. Avenue of inquiry. Is that a more positive term that you can get on board with?
You can call it what you want. It's still an IT problem. And I hate IT problems. I'm an artiste. Stuck behind the screen.
I hate them.
I hate them.
Okay. She opens the door and waits for you to head off.
As they head off and they sort of walk, I guess, to find brunch, which tummies are rumbling, I guess. Kara turns to Agnar. And says, "Oh, man, this has got me thinking. You know, this has really got me thinking about this old working class tale about clowns. I don't know if I've ever told you this before.
Is this relevant?
It'll only take a minute.
Okay.
I think it's relevant. I can't remember what it is. I've got to wait. I'm hoping that Ben's got the title somewhere. I haven't read it.
It's a lot of scrolling, if not.
Oh, there's so much scrolling. I'll put brunch up while we wait. And it is time for brunch, Spitz. You're absolutely right. It's always time for brunch. And it's first brunch, though. It's still quite early in the day. And coffee and nuts doesn't count as a brunch, so. Oh, let's get it down. Let's see if Ben's got a title. Oh, that's tiny. Oh, my goodness. Hang on, I'm going to have to do it myself. Okay. How a multi-ascent clown known as Bozo was once seen at a rodeo. He was just there as a spectator, but became canon that is now a rodeo clown. So anger the two large clown factions was this canon the clown. Oh, canon. I'm glad that canon's doing a lot of heavy lifting in this. That's very important. And we'll correct it. The green honkers and the face painters. But how did the galactic working class benefit from the after the circus war?
And your time starts now.
Cara says, "Okay, so have you heard of the two big clown gangs from about 15 years ago, the green honkers and the face painters? Were they?"
I'm a former general. No.
No, but You see, back on my planet, the face painters were quite big for a while. Okay, and the thing is, they were quite a bougie bourgeoisie kind of clown group, and they got into this gang war with this proper working class group of clowns called the Green Honkers, and it all started because some clown called Bozo acted up to his name and caused a ruckus because he was at a rodeo. And the thing is, right, at the time it seems a really bad thing, like inter-class battle and this and that. But in the end, people really got behind the honkers. The face painters just weren't approachable, and they really got on their high horses. And so after, in the end of it, the people got behind the underdog. It was a great thing to see. They were the underdog, the honkers. People got behind them, and they won this big circus war. And it was a really big moment for the galactic working class. I'm surprised you've never heard about this, Agni. It's big. I'm like, man, you weren't that far away.
It's a great story. I'm not sure how it relates to the attempted assassination of a cult.
It just felt salient. You know how
on a
my mind
buckyball
works.
tour. But
you know how my mind works,
yeah.
It just came to me.
Yeah.
It came to me.
3 steps ahead of mine, no doubt.
I bet you by the time we get down to see Rose, it'll have all become apparent to you why it came to my mind. but first, should we go get some brunch? I'm starving.
Let's brunch.
Let's get some cuddly toys and some things for Rose.
Yeah.
And on
definitely.
that moment, we'll take our break.
Yeah, good call.
Excellent call. Right, that sounds good then. Should we take thank you, Critfell, as always. I say thank you between gritted teeth. Let's take 5 minutes, everyone. Should we? 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere, guys. We appreciate you being with us.
We'll be back.
We appreciate you. Go grab a drink, grab a wee, grab some crisps or something. We'll see you in 5. Right, hang on, let me find the stuff. Oh, for goodness sake. I've got to click on that. But without that. So that should be music. You should all be able to hear music out there. That's good.
This is behind the scenes stuff now.
And if I click on that,
I can't hear
that
anything.
should see the screen. Jump
But I haven't got my sound on the screen.
No, but there we go. The screen's up now, so it's just us talking. Right, we're going to go. Let's do this first break.
Bye.
You're on. Hello, everyone. Ewan's here with the most important part of the whole week. Ewan.
Hello, yes, indeed, Luke. It is the most important part of the whole week. It is the point in our Friday Night Traveller game where we play homage to our long dead and not so long forgotten barman, the wonderful Greyhill Bast, who you can see behind me with fine jawline, fine forearms. If I duck my shoulder a little bit, swivel my chair as well. Nothing clever actually nothing clever ever, but nothing clever for today's test. In some weird kind of crossover, today is I've been reliably informed today is National Hot Mulled Cider Day. I don't know where, so don't ask. I didn't look too much into it, to be honest. But somewhere it is National Hot Mulled Cider Day, which got me thinking most of the day actually about the times in the bar where Greyhill would put on a vat of mulled hot cider. Of course, Agnar would smell it first because Varga smelling is how many times? It's like a million times more acute than human smelling.
Yeah, best at laptop sniffing.
Yes, precisely. But also very beneficial in this case because he managed to make it to the bar before Soraya had chance to spike it with whatever horrible homebrewed scout vile alcohol that she'd hidden behind her radiator. But Greyhill was a great fan of hot mulled cider and providing for the crew in ample amounts and ample alcoholicness. He was a good barman. You can tell we're really scraping. I'm really scraping the barrel here. Ben never scrapes the barrel. But indeed, that is now canon. So someone write it down somewhere. And I would like you all to raise a glass to the best mulled hot cider maker that I know, the late, the great Greyhill Bast.
The Greyhill Bast.
The late great Greyhill Bast.
Thank you,
Ben.
Okay, so you make your way back out of the sort of security area, and you can head off to your next destination.
Agnar will look at Cara. Brunch.
Let's brunch. Agnar, cut first. Oh, the guns are out tonight. Pew, pew, pew.
There they are.
It's the sound effects that makes it.
Yeah.
Forearms before firearms.
How many more weeks do we have cricket guns before they become off-season ones?
Oh, the off-season guns have started already.
Have they?
I'm going to do a bit of yoga so that I don't die over the
Fair
weekend,
enough.
So we'll see how I go. I'll keep the arms strong at least. Oh yeah, it'd be rude. It'd be offensive to jump in on Ewan's speeching, Kels. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Carl, so like, I don't, as much as I've enjoyed the vegan brunchery, I just want something really greasy and like meat filled today, if that's okay. Just one of those days, you know.
Yeah,
it feels like
sure.
death's just around the corner. I don't want to waste a meal on not meat.
I mean, you understand me as a Varga saying this holds some substance, but I wouldn't necessarily call a vegan meal a wasted one. But I certainly appreciate that some of us had a long night, and it was quite the eventful day yesterday, and I can certainly appreciate the need for a grease-filled, meat-filled brunch. After you, please lead on.
I feel the need for my brunch to bleed. Oh, let's go. And she finds the greasiest possible, horrible fan stool for nasty food, if that's okay, Ben.
Absolutely. This is a sporting venue. There is no shortage of fried things and very greasy things in pies and wraps and sandwiches and that kind of thing. Yeah, no trouble at all.
Are we looking at a man, a lady, a child,
A Tim, in fact.
a Tim? Clara smiles at the Tim. He says, "Hello, my good sir. My colleague and I are very hungry. I would like to make an order, if that's okay."
That's what we're here for.
I would like to. We haven't had a good Timming for a while. I'm glad we had a good Timming. Tim.
It has been a while since a good Timmy.
A good Timming. It's not so good Timming. And she's going to run across the menu every single thing that sounds like it's going to clot your arteries. She's going to go, "I'll have 2 of them, 2 of them, 2 of them, 2 of them, and the 2 drinks you have with the most caffeine in, please."
Okay.
Don't forget Rose as well.
Oh, and you got a bag of grapes.
Good call.
This isn't really quite the right place for grapes.
I'll then just get her some meat in a roll. We'll leave it there. She won't have it. It'll be ceremonial.
We can do a hot meat sandwich of some description. No problem.
Yes.
So yes, indeed, you get little takeaway boxes filled with greasy, slimy looking, absolutely delicious smelling fried meats.
How much is
Agno,
how much is that?
sorry.
Sir? Okay.
All in, including a sandwich for Rose, that will be 12.
Only 12. Wow, we need to come back here again.
Bargain. Agno will butt in partway through before it's delivered, and I'll just say, can half of them for me? Half of those, can you just make them raw, please? Or like as blue as possible. Not the chicken or the pork.
Your stomach's made for it, Agno. I've seen you eat all sorts of terrible things.
Well, I know, but other people frown upon it when I do it in public.
You're the one with the sense of smell. You're the one that's more likely to frown upon it.
Yes, of course. And indeed, prepares you a mixed selection. Some of which is indeed completely raw.
Agnar is when it comes to raw meat. He's in the toilets. The toilets aren't though. We've clogged a lot of toilets over the years.
Thanks, Cara. I'll get the next one. We're here for a week.
Yeah. I like to get them in early so that everyone thinks I'm the generous one, and then I can avoid my round for a few days, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
I get it when there's 2 of us, not when there's 8 of us. You may notice.
Well, if it's a team meeting, the management should really spring for brunch. I feel at this point.
The management.
That is true. Anyway, let's get some cuddly toys and bits and pieces. Let's find a nice stall for that, and then we'll go and see Rose.
Sounds perfect.
Excellent stuff. So you're looking for another venue for purchases?
Just like one of again, like a team store. I'm not trying to do too much. I guess a team store that's going to have, bears in team jerseys and that sort of thing,
again, a sports tat kind of place.
Yes, please,
yeah. That's no trouble at all. You're never more than a few hundred feet from one of those on this ship.
And can she get just like a few different bears with in different things, in different poses, different sizes, different bits, different pieces, if that makes sense?
Well, you tend to find that the sort of soft toy type things tend to be the appropriate for the team.
Oh yes, tell me what we got.
So the
Cuddly fish would have been last one.
Yeah, the Dillabrew ones tend to be moanfs in team colours.
Oh, I want one as well. Cara's going to buy herself one. She'll get. What would Hackett be?
Well, Hackett is not as well served by large wildlife, but it does have I suppose what you might call a traditional emblematic animal,
Okay.
more than anything else, which is a crocodile.
Oh, nice. I'm going to buy. She's going to buy a moanf for herself and 2 for Rose, and a crocodile for Rose as well.
Okay, so that's 4 in total.
That's 4, please. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that will be 40, I'm afraid.
That's okay. Worth it. And if you're making one, Cara will turn to Agnar and say, "Do you want one of these? Look at these. These are great. I can see you wandering around with it stuck out your armor. Look, you've killed enough moanfs in your time. It's almost like a trophy to you. You horrible hunter man."
I was about to say to you that they look amazing. Not for me per se, but I think one of those moanfs in each of the rooms at our new business would be a great little piece on the bed for when guests arrive. You know, set the tone.
Okay, I'll buy
But
I don't know,
also,
how am I going to get them back?
Also, I kind of want to now go to Hackett and hunt some
rocks.
Hunt some crocodiles. Is that wrong? Do you think? No, they can't be endangered there if it's their, national team animal. It's like moanfs on Dillabrew.
Yeah.
And we know we've hunted those.
You have. I refuse to.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm probably the wrong crowd.
You stayed in the van.
I find no joy in hunting for sport, and I had a horrific hangover. She turns to the staff and she says, "I guess I'll have another 10 of your moanfs then, and I'll." And she turns to Agnes and says, "I guess when we get back to the Baltic Star, I'll have to set up a box and we'll post it over."
Yep, you can ship them.
Yeah, and we'll ship 10 over to the hotel.
Oh, if it's business as well, remember get a
receipt,
get a VAT receipt, and we'll claim the tax back for you.
I like your thinking.
That'll be 100 more, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I've already done it, so 140 total. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Worth every pound. They're lovely. These are lovely. She rubs it against Agnar's furry cheek. Feel how soft that is.
No, get it off.
It's lovely. She grabs one on each side. Says, "Wait, look at this."
No,
little Agnar sandwich.
If it wasn't for the armor, this would be like Velcro now.
Exactly.
Look,
Agnar. It's these are hunting you for once. Arr, 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 arr.
Stop it. Look at all these people around. If someone catches this on their device and posts it to social media, along with the falling in the swimming pool, former general not only falls in the swimming pool but gets devoured by moanf cuddly toys. It's a media disaster waiting to happen.
Wait, Agnar, stand there. I'm just going to back up a little bit. If I hold it really close on my camera, it looks like it's eating your head. Arr, 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 arr.
Oh, now, cool. Actually, if you're talking about a clever perspective photo, that might be a different matter. If it's done well.
Pose for it. Go like this. Go. Yeah.
And he will. He'll pose.
That's a keeper. That one. That can go off on our wall. That's good.
If we get it blown up, we can put it in the
hotel.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Right, let's go and see Rose.
Yeah. Let's. She's been alone long enough, I'm sure.
All right. So you make your way to the other end of the ship, to the stern, where there at the back, in order to get to the medical center, you'll have to head down past the ski slope.
Do you want to take the quick way down or the short way down? Or I suppose you've got your hands full.
I've got a bag full of 14
Yeah,
cuddly
let's take
toys
the
here.
lift.
Okay, so you hop into the lift and head down. You pass through the quite nice looking sort of multi-layered ski slope that people are happily skiing around on. Make your way down into the sort of administrative section between there and the main docking bays, and there is the level there which includes signage that says here's the medical center. Obviously it's not uncommon for passengers to visit a sick friend or whatever. Given the size of the liner, of course, it's a fairly substantial place, and the main lobby entrance wraps all the way around the lift shaft at this level, with a big hallway leading off towards the main medical center. And at the end of it, there is a desk with a computerized system to identify where you need to be and how you need to get there.
Agnar will look at Kara and just gesture and say, well, this feels like another IT problem.
She shoots him a look and pulls her hood back down from above her head and sort of hands Agnar the stinky meats and the bag of moanfs. That hooks the bag of moanfs over his arm, so he's fully limbered. Come on, just wait there. All right, I need both my hands.
The stinky meats will take gladly.
As she approaches the counter, is there like a receptionist behind?
No, just a sort of touch screen.
She sort of cracks both her fingers, makes a big show of cracking both her fingers that she needs both her hands. And then with one finger she taps on like the start button. And she tries to find out where Rose is.
Yep. There is a sort of entry system where you can type or even just speak the name of the person you're after.
Rose. Agnar, what's her surname? We don't know her surname, do we? Should I just go Rose?
Yeah.
Rose.
It brings up a little confirmation that that's the person you're after. And when you hit it, you see a little, it's like a light behind a slot. So imagine you had a slot cut in the front of the desk, with a glass panel covering it. Yes. And then in there was an LED that glows, but then that light, obviously not physically moved, but effectively the light runs down the front of the kiosk and then out onto the floor and sets off along the floor and stops after just a couple of yards.
Oh, nice. Out of interest, when it said Rose, did it show her surname?
No.
Oh, mysterious. Kara wanders back over to Agnar and points at the lights and doesn't take anything. Reaches into the bags, takes out one cuddly crocodile and two of the moanfs, but leaves everything else on Agnar. And she skips off. Says, "Come on, let's follow the red dotted road."
Okay.
The red dot to Rose.
You can be the cowardly lion. Come on.
As you step towards it, the light.
You can be the friend of Dorothy. Come on, let's go.
As you step towards it, the light moves at the same pace you do. It stays a meter or two in front of you as you walk, and you notice, glancing around, that there are a couple of other people following their own little light dots along the floor. And it leads you down a corridor and then turn and down another corridor and eventually to a door. And there the light runs up the frame of the door and stops next to the button that you hit to open it.
Wow, who would have thought they'd need so many medical rooms on a cruise, Agnar?
Well, hopefully they don't need them all. I will point out, I hate to point it out, but you missed the opportunity for a cowardly general joke.
I did. I was just too excited by the lights.
I know, I could tell.
Come on, now I feel like I'm the scarecrow with no brain for missing that one.
And Agnar will offer up his arm to link arms and walk in. Walk through the door in the.
Come on then, Toto. Let's
Fashion.
see what's there.
Okay, you
There's
hit the
no-
button, the door slides
no
open,
friend like Rose.
and there is a bed in there, and Rose is lying in it, awake, fairly well covered with sort of medical equipment. There's monitors and what have you around her, but she's awake, and the numbers appear to be for the most part green and blue, not red and yellow.
That's good.
Is it just her in the room?
Yes, it's
One
a
bed.
private room.
Rose. Good to see you. How are you feeling?
Quite a lot like I got shot.
Well, that's to be expected, I suppose. You were shot.
Yes. Do we know why I was shot?
Well, you see, no, frankly. I was going to be pedantic about it, but let's be honest, you've just been shot. That's the last thing you need. We don't, but we have just come from a meeting with Sharp, the head of security, and we've been discussing the assailant who is no longer with us. I don't know. I wouldn't say pleased, but hopefully that brings you some sense of security, at least. And we've got some avenues of inquiry, isn't that right, Kara? Hence and he'll gesture towards the Kara covered with cuddly toys.
Exactly. Kara leans in and she would want to give Rose a cuddle, but she realizes it's sort of not possible. So she tries to find a bit of the arm or hand to squeeze, and she looks in the eye and says, "I'm so sorry I wasn't there. I feel so guilty for it happening, really. And when I heard this morning what had happened, I knew I had to come and visit you. I've bought you gifts. I've bought you 2 moanfs. Get used to these, because there's probably going to be some hatched babies when we get back to the Baltic Star, and so you can be like their mum. And there's a crocodile randomly. Don't ask me why, but you can have little battles. One of these is from Olivia Sharp, and the other 2 are from me and the crew and Agnar. And we bought you some meat. We know you probably don't want it, but everyone gets grapes. This is a little bit special. We'll leave it here until the smell drives you crazy, and you can get a nurse to take it away. But it was bought with thought.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Yes.
And she takes firm hold of a cuddly moanf and looks at it and then smiles and gives it a squeeze.
Bell, channel the power of the moanf, the might of its legs, and the rage it has toward all moanfs have towards Agnar, and hopefully you'll get better sooner rather than later. But I think you're out of. I think this is going to be your bed for at least the week, I'm afraid. We'll make sure people come over to you, but No, no. Still, it's better than sleeping just above the colt, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, on balance, I'd have rather not been shot.
Of course, it's gonna leave a well-cool scar though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that'll be something to talk about anyway when it's my turn to tell a tale of the Baltic Star, isn't it?
Ah, it is. I love those tales of the Baltic Star. We told so many. Ah.
We are all sorry though. Perhaps I think perhaps we'll have some takeaways from this for the future. Right, Cara? You had us worried for a long period of time.
I'm sorry.
No, rightfully so. I would
Heck
say
no.
we put you in that situation. Oh, the arm's pretty sore.
Through the armor.
And is Kat okay? I heard she caught some.
Kara turns to Agnar. She wasn't there, of course.
She'll recover. She'll be all right. She's not as heavily as you.
Well, that's good. Well, I appreciate any news you have about how the shooting came about, because I don't really feel I can relax until I know that I'm not, under threat.
To that point, Cara, perhaps it is best that we divulge all to Rose, given the nature of.
A wise man once told me that it's always best to tell the truth in these situations. And it was this old wise man with a big bushy beard.
An old wise man.
A very old wise man.
Very old.
He had a cane with a golden claw on the top, and he'd sit on a stone of wisdom surrounded by great curtains. He was the wisest man I've ever met, and he told me, never lie about these things. Always tell the truth.
Okay. Well, as I said, we've just come from Sharp's office, right, Cara?
Yes.
The assailant is there. We saw them. We didn't recognise them. But we did recognise, or we were familiar with their type of armour. We're thinking Varga noble family. Sharp had told us that it has no markings and the serial numbers have been scraped off. So not necessarily directly, but it could very well be. However, I think did we decide? I'm not sure whether we decided or I just jumped to the conclusion that the individual inside did not look like somebody who would be employed by a Varga noble family as special forces.
You definitely came to that decision,
yeah. I mean, I'm certainly not. I certainly don't want to, throw any guilt on you, and nobody blames you for anything whatsoever. But it would be remiss of me not to ask whether you had any beef with any Varga noble families, I suppose, or anybody who would have access to such a expensive equipment. It seems a bit out of place if you catch my drift.
All right, I'm going to give her a roll on her intellect to see if she can remember anything relevant. Okay. She thinks a little while, and then she says, I think I never had anything to do with any Varga at all until I met you.
Well, that's reassuring.
I can't think of a reason why Varga would, have it in for me. Not at all.
Okay. Well, if that's what you say, then that is what will be noted. Perhaps there were you were just caught in the crossfire. I'm sure. I'll give a bit of a sideways look at Kara.
Kara thinks about it. She's like, well, Rose, I wasn't there. You didn't. It's not like you threatened him. You didn't. I'm sorry to make you think back, but you didn't raise a weapon to him or anything, did you? You weren't like first on the scene when he came forwards.
I was close to Agnar, and he was the. I don't know if it was him or me who was closest, but we were kind of between the shooter and the hot tubs.
Oh, so he's quite indiscriminate. He was just.
So we were, I guess, the closest.
Mm. Strange. Right, between you and me, I'd have put Agnar down first any day of the week.
Well, me too.
Kara sort of shares a slightly strained laugh about it.
Have you been speaking to my vet?
Your vet says you're a very good boy.
No, I'd have thought the giant military armored Varga would have been my first pick too.
Agnar, is that why you asked her, Agnar? Because she seemed like such a strange first target. He might just not have been very good at his job.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's worth checking out the security cameras and seeing who was directly behind you. If there was anyone that they were aiming for. Maybe.
I can get into those cameras.
Well, I'm sure we could ask Sharp. I mean, I'm sure you. I know you can, Cara. I'm not sure.
She likes you. Did you not see the way she was looking at you last time?
No.
That thin smile she gave you. I think you're growing on her. You're pratfalls. She sees you as you were lofty and unachievable and like hoity-toity before, but you're just
ever since I fell in that pool, though.
Yeah. Not the only one that fell head over heels that day.
Listen, I know you like to wind me up, but she's not my type.
That reminds me, how is Rack doing?
I don't know. I last spoke to him when you did. Anyway, it certainly seems as though we could check out the footage for other options. I'd like to be honest. I'd like to. I'm no assassin, but I'd like to think that I'd have the nuance to watch the footage and see potentially any other targets from that shot, or whether it was random firing, or something along those lines.
We can get the footage, Agnar. Whether we do it officially or not, we can. It might take a bit of time, but we can sit down.
Yeah.
We've got the It's only what? It's still early morning, mid-morning. We've got time before any
We
shift.
could be looking into this way too much. It could have just been a random attack on a group of people that were with the diaspora and they didn't really know what they were doing.
Are you saying we just forget about this whole thing and just enjoy the rest of our week?
No, I'm just. I worry sometimes that we overthink these
soul
things,
die.
you know.
But you know, we're a thinky bunch.
Wow.
That's what they call us.
Some of us are.
That's what I think they were calling us, the thinky bunch.
And it's at about that moment that Rose glances quickly at the door and then reaches underneath her sort of covering sheet and pulls out a small device. And without saying anything, just hands it to Kara. And doesn't say anything at all, and just keeps talking to Agnar as she does so. And she says, so as I say, if you can in any way work out what happened or why, I'd appreciate knowing. I don't think I'm going to be able to be much help to you at all. But given the fact that I'm stuck here for the foreseeable future, let me know if there's anything I can do to help. I can't imagine what it would be.
Yeah, of course. Is this noticeable to everyone in the room?
Yes.
Agnar will just he'll say, yeah, of course, no problem. Are you happy here? Are you well looked after? Obviously, if you need anything, just we're on communications if you need us.
Thanks. I'll obviously let you know if you could, I don't know, send someone once or twice a day to check in with me. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. We can certainly do that. Why don't we make it? What are we on? Are we on 3 shifts a day now, Kara?
It's like 4. It's 4-ish. It depends. It's sort of. I think it feels like we're doing slightly more than 4 a day because our shifts aren't quite going the full length. It seems so. That works quite well. But I know Zoe will. But after lunch, I think Zoe will come here. Rose, she's dying to see you. Sorry, wrong choice of word, I guess. But she's desperate to. She's desperate to see you. And I know some of the other guys would love to see you too.
We call it 4 times a day. We can stop in here on our way off of shift on back to the rooms. I know it's not a route, but yeah, it can become a route.
That'd be lovely. Thank you.
Just hang a sock on the door if you don't want anyone coming in or something.
Sure, I'll get right on that.
Cool. Okay, but as long as everything's going well for you here and everything's all right and you're being looked after, we'll send someone will come your way this afternoon. Have a nice few hours, I hope. Keep getting your rest, yeah? It's important to recover properly.
Yeah, I'm recovering, I think, as fast as can be expected.
Cool. Agnar did. To be honest, this man here, she slaps her hand across her very strong shoulders.
No.
He saved your life. And we're so lucky that he did, all of us. We'd be lost without you. So you take your time and you recover well. And we'll see you, Agnar and I will see you at some point tomorrow, I'd imagine. But you take care.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Okay. Are you setting off back on your way out?
As Kara turns around, there's a couple of things she's going to check now then. Firstly, in her first glimpse, is there an obvious camera in the room?
No, there doesn't appear to be any monitoring. It's a private room. You wouldn't normally expect it. And as far as you can tell, no.
In which case, could Kara please remove her EM probe and run it?
Yes, indeed.
It's been a few months since we've EM probed.
Electronics communications, please, with your intellect.
Are we outside of the room now, or are we in still?
Still in the room, I think.
Electronics communications with my what? Sorry?
With intellect.
Oh, that's my. This is where I'm a Viking. Ah ha ha ha! Add it to the cheat dice. 16.
16.
It's the most overpowered roll. I don't need to check for that. There's other things I'd rather get 12 for.
There is a transmitter, a communications device in the room. More specifically, in your hand, Cara.
Okay, so that's the only thing it picks up.
Other than your own equipment, yeah.
Nothing. Okay. That takes the weight off Kara's mind. So she sort of, as they leave through the door, she sort of whispers to Agnar, like low voice. She's like, he'd have seen her doing it, so that it's clean. But anyone, if that guy was working with someone, like who knows? So I'm gonna check that every time I come in. When we tell people, just tell them to keep an eye out for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she thinks actually, I'll tell you what. And she stops. She goes back to the door and she pulls the door open. And with her camera, she tries to get all the room, or everything around Rose she can, and sort of plays it up as a say cheese kind of thing. Say cheese for the crew, while she tries to get a photo of how the room looks.
Mm-hmm.
So that the idea is that people take a picture so we can see if anything's different, anything weird is different, if that makes sense.
Okay. Can you roll a visual media check for me, please?
I can. Can I have education with that, please? Is that something?
Yes, you definitely can. This is literally your training.
This is literally happening. That's a 7. 7 plus 4 is 11.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You get an undeniably very, very good set of images covering the entire room, and a smiling and slightly weirdly waving Rose, who's not entirely sure what you're doing.
Cool. As they leave the room, Cara will send one of the smiley ones to the group chat. There's sort of a hey, we just saw Rose. She's up and she's awake and she's looking okay. Send. And then as I walk out, it says to Agnar. So all we'll do is just whoever goes in, if they can take some pictures and we can sort of compare it, just in case, I don't know.
Yeah. Did you get that really shiny pair of boots that were sticking out from under the bed in your picture?
No, I missed that guy. I think I might have got. Hang on, what's that in the corner? Is that some Varga armor?
Now we're just being silly. Come on. I think we're okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, are you heading out of medical now?
I guess so. There's no one that we've put into medical, is there, Ewan, that we could turn the screws on? That's very unlike us.
No, there's no one here other than Rose that you know.
But on the way out, I assume, Agnar will say to Cara, what was it?
Let us get out of medical and we'll have a look. Let's go and we've still got all this brunch. She holds in a slightly dripping bag, I'm guessing. Let's go find a bench and let's go.
Definitely perspiring.
let's go find a bench and have an eat, and let's have a look at what we've got.
Okay.
All right. Once you're back up on the main deck, there's an endless range of those overhead seats that you can sit in next to the buckyball pitch.
Yeah.
So you can pick 2 of those anywhere you like.
Oh, I feel as though our trip has been missing some bucket. You know, I caught a lot of buckyball on our last trip, Cara. I feel as though this one's been somewhat wanting so far.
I barely saw any of it, but your blazer. I tell you what, it'd be lovely for that blazer to come out again. Is that have you got it? Is that in the wardrobe, ready to come out? Maybe this evening after shift we can have a nice bit of day somewhere. Dress up a bit nice.
Yeah, well, I've got it with me, but I'm going to be honest. When we're, while the tension on board is so high, I'm in two minds to wear it. But we could make an evening of something, I'm sure.
Could you at least wear a necktie or a bow tie over the armour? Make a bit of an effort.
We'll make an effort. I'll get the blazer.
Okay, that's good stuff.
For you.
Thank you. I'll just wear the hoodie. Okay, let's find the. I'm enjoying that. It's comfy. It's perfect. And she pulls them up to seats and sort of she dives into the bag of meat, avoids the super rare stuff which she hands to Agnar.
Thanks.
Shovels a bit into her mouth, and then pulls out, when she's checking that no one's really paying attention to what's going on. She pulls out what it was that Rose gave her.
Okay. Can you roll an electronics communications check for me, please?
I can. Do I get a personal skill with that at all?
Yeah. Intellect this time.
Okay.
She gave that to the wrong person.
How dare you? What's that? 8.
No, it's the opposite. It's exactly the right person.
This is I pulled the stats up. This is Cara's wheelhouse.
This is all Cara.
She can't lift anything. She dies if she gets shot once. She can barely stand on one leg.
She does the heavy computer lifting though.
Got the brains.
Yeah.
She's like Moz from the IT crowd. No, actually, her social's too good for that.
Yeah.
Actually, she's a really social skilled nerd, an artist, and a philosopher. She's a confusion.
A gentleman, a scholar, and an acrobat.
Exactly, all those, but not the acrobat, maybe. That sounds more like Stefan, to be honest. Okay, that's a 7 plus 4 is 11.
Okay. You hold this device. It is small, black, largely featureless. But as soon as you start to examine it, you realize you can actually pull the 2 ends of it apart, and inside it reveals a very small, discrete screen on which a message is displayed. Ooh. And it's quite elegantly designed in the sense that if you roll it between your fingers, the actual device, it effectively scrolls the message for you.
I like this device.
So you can read the text as long as the message is, even though the screen itself is very small. The message says, probably best if we don't meet. Let me know how I can help. Speak into this, and I'll get the message.
No signature?
No.
Wordlessly, I guess, and with her finger on her lip, sort of casually finger on the lips, Cara sort of shows it to Agnar. Tries to get the right distance for a man of his age's eyes. Not too close, not too far. the middle ground. You know, I know his eyes are key. No, Varga eyes are
You got to
poor,
account
aren't
for
the snout,
the snout.
the nose,
Yeah.
and sort of gets the right distance and sort of scrolls it. It's a tiny screen, of course, and sort of scrolls it up and down for him to read the whole thing.
He'll have a look over both of his shoulders, in front of him a little bit, I suppose, just peruse around and make sure that nobody's paying too much attention.
Okay. Can you roll a streetwise check for me, please?
Yeah, very much
With
not,
intellect.
not his wheelhouse. And he'll say to Kara, "Is it worth? Do you wanna do what you did back in the room here before we get into this?"
I feel that there's going to be a lot of people around here with a lot of devices and a lot of things pointing up there, recording and playing and displaying. You might get lost in the noise.
That's fair. Well, Agnar rolled a 2.
Oh no!
A 2 on the dice. Did you say intellect, which is a 0, so that's 2, and then streetwise, which is non-existent,
yes.
so that's -1. if my maths is correct here.
This is not the first time Agnar's done that on a streetwise. I think
it might not have been a streetwise, but it's definitely something that he had a -3 in.
You rolled a -1.
Yeah.
That's
It's a 7.
Oh.
Is it 7? Is it an 8's a pass, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was only 9 off.
A magical -1. Excellent. Okay.
Oh, grief.
No, Agnar doesn't see anyone paying undue attention or anything.
It's all the meat sweats in your eyes.
Probably. Is that from? Who's that from? Is that from Rose? Do you think?
Well,
or do you think somebody gave it to her?
Probably best if we don't meet. Let me know if I can help speaking to this, and I'll get the message. I don't think it's from Rose. There's nothing to do with meeting. She's not going to be able to leave the place. Seems like she might have got it from someone. Is it? It could be our. It could be our
Sharp.
Our ally. It could be Sharp. It could be a cultist. Could have been pressed into Rose's onto her bed when she slept. Not she slept when she was in a room earlier in the day. You know. So there's a lot of options. The only way to find out is potentially to
speak into it and see what happens. I'm going to be honest. I think it's probably from our new friend on board.
Well, that's someone we need to make contact with.
But how do we? Say they say it is. Say we ask them who they are and they say it's that person. How do we? Can we confirm that? There's no way, right? If we're only communicating through this device, it could be anybody, and they could say that they are anybody. So how do we hold it in? How do we hold it in any esteem that they aren't literally just anybody? How do we divulge any information that we wouldn't divulge to somebody that's not a trusted friend?
Cara turns to Agnar with a big smile, and she says, "Don't you think that's quite exciting, though?"
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Right. We've been pushing at a few walls trying to find information, and this is exciting. Should we do it? Shall I do it?
Yeah, speak. Just don't let anything. No cats out of bags.
Cara pauses for a minute, and then she thinks, and then she takes the device and holds it close, as Agnar sneezes, close to her mouth. She says, "Hi, this is Cara Lasker, and welcome to the Seamstress. How can I be of assistance?" And then snaps it shut for the time being.
Okay.
The other option is are you familiar with this bit of kit? What's the range on it? Would they have just picked up everything we just said, or would they have literally just picked up everything that you said into it really closely?
What would... Okay, let's lay it out here then, Ben. Cara's skills would be computers 1, comms 2. She's got an extra comms star with her computer. She needs to check it. She's got the intellect. She's got the education. Her study was art and computers and philosophy.
Yep.
Would she, and in quite a high tech world, a relatively high tech world, would she know, or is this beyond what she's seen?
Okay, there are going to be three parts to it, I guess. So identifying the
Shakespearean play.
Yeah, indeed. So identifying the nature of the housing,
Yes.
identifying the communications technology,
Yes.
and perhaps identifying any origin for the equipment.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is going to be a technology role of some kind with intellect, but it'll be an engineering kind of thing rather than electronics.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's not really her thing, of course. She's more, she's not with the construction of the item or what's going on inside. So she'll turn to Agnar. She'll sort of look at it, roll it over in her hands. She'll turn to Agnar and she will say, 7 minus 1 is 6. What would she say, Ben?
Actually, I think that's not too bad for something like this, because I think she'll have seen things of a similar construction in the past because of her comms experience.
Okay.
The device is actually 2 layers. They are separated by a vacuum, like a thermos flask. When closed, this means that sound waves can't penetrate the outside, but obviously there is an electrical connection between the outside and the inside. So it can theoretically still work to receive and transmit, but it can't pick up any sound inside.
It's closed, so Kyra will say, so it's like a thermos flask, you know. When it's shut, when it's open, it's all good. When it's shut, it can it can electronically hear and speak, but it can't hear us. It's got to be open for that.
Okay. That's good to know.
Okay.
And now it's shut, it's okay. So, and then as for the next bit, Agnar, ... What was the next part of it?
The next bit would be the technology. So if you pull it open, you can assess the internal workings and what it can actually do.
Okay. Now be quiet for a second, dear Agnar. Okay. I've got to have a little bit of a closer look here. And she pops it back open again. And
Okay.
has a bit of a nose around.
This will be an electronics. I think it probably still electronics computing role.
Okay.
With education.
Okay, this is
sorry, communications, electronics.
Yeah,
Comms.
electronics comms. This is more like it. Yeah, this is a good role. That's 11 plus 4 is 13.
Okay. It has a device in the center to capture sound. That sound is reliant on physical vibrations. You couldn't use it to pick up something on the far side of a room. You pretty much have to talk straight into it. And it transcribes more or less from your spoken voice into text.
Sorry, as you were doing that, for some reason, Ewan had his walk on, which sounds like a hobbit going to lunch. And I can hear it in my ears. It's so funny. I'm sorry, you were doing really serious electronic stuff. It was
We hates them. We hate hobbits.
Funny. I'm sorry, it's so funny. That's like what my mind does when you start talking about technology.
It appears to just do it randomly.
I wish more people have walk-ons. We just
I mean,
have random walk-ons all the time. Anyone can got a blurb. Give yourself a walk-on, and every time you join the chat, you can have a tune. Do it.
Bad enough having one person. Sorry. Go on.
Carl will say, turns. Hang on, sound waves. So you got to speak close. She'll close it again, and then she'll say, what you got to do is. The device in the center captures sound. You need to speak quite. You have to be close to it, so almost like you're using it like a microphone. In there, it's good tech. It converts sound waves to text. It's sort of a voice to type tech, which in this space is pretty good in this small device.
Does that mean that we can expect a text response from the voice message that you just sent?
It does seem like
potentially.
There's no input for us to type. That's right, isn't it, Ben? It looks very much like it's speaking from our end, and either they're speaking from that end or they're typing from that end. But yeah, it's smart. It's something you can look at without having to listen to or anything. It's very clever.
Okay. And the other part is, can you discern its origin? There are no markings or anything like that, so it will be down to I suppose a cultural or historical check of some kind.
You really set me up with this, Ian. I have no cultural or scientific skills whatsoever. The only science I have is my philosophy, which doesn't feel like the best fit.
No, probably. I can't imagine you could philosophically reason your way to point of origin.
Curses. So I will straight. So will any intellect, education, or social skill or not at all?
I mean, you can have intellect and a -3, of course.
Yeah, of course. So it's a -1 overall. And that's not going to help because that is a 4. -1 is 3.
It could be worse.
It could be. It could be a -1.
It could be a -1. Yeah. Yes, it's not something you recognise.
I can't recognise it though, so I guess we might find out more when we get a response. I wonder if it will vibrate or if I'll have to check on it from time to time. But for now, unless I hear anything else, I'll pop it in my pocket while we finish our brunch.
Why don't you check on it now?
Oh, go on then. She had half a sandwich into her mouth. She puts the sandwich back down, pulls it open to see if there is a response or not.
There is.
Oh, don't touch the sandwich.
And it says,
I'll hold it for you.
Don't touch the sandwich. That's what it says. Don't touch the sandwich.
What? Oh no, he's watching us.
You pull it open and it immediately says, glad it found you, Cara.
Oh.
I'm here to help. Looking for the pencil case.
Looking looking for the pencil case. Oh, does this go back to anything? Ewan, did we refer to a pencil?
Well, I know you're a well-renowned artist,
I've got a pencil case here.
so
Found
they're
it.
probably asking the right person. To be fair,
Cara closes it while this is going on, of course. The pencil case. Hang on a second.
it's very specific. I forget who was actually. Ewan forgets who was actually privy to
Third
pencil
person
case
now,
related information.
Who knows what?
I know exactly what it is, but I don't know whether Agnar does.
Oh, hang on a sec. If it's to do with the child, Agnar does know.
Yeah, the pencil case was the code name, presumably for the child.
Yeah, that's right.
I just looked.
From
she messages Agnar.
from March Temple.
The child is the parcel. Adult leaves the child to Agnar. He knows. He knows the best of all. Looking back at the notes, so yeah.
Yes, Agnar will certainly know. Pencil case is the term that both, well, seemingly March, but certainly Zoe used to refer to the child.
Yeah, I mean, and again, he'll have another look around, and he'll lean over and he'll whisper, "The pencil case is." He'll say Stella Nest and Zoe referred to the diaspora's guest or newest member as the pencil case.
Sort of takes that in, and she thinks about it, and she opens up the device. And she says, "The pencil case is in the stationery cupboard. Are you happy with it staying there for now?"
Okay.
Oh, it's all feeling very Soviet Union in the 80s all of a sudden.
The eagle flies high at night.
Exactly.
It's all a little bit Tinker Tailor.
Exactly.
Okay. And you shut the device again?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And eat more meat and watch the early buckyball, I guess, as Agnar talks.
Do you know this code, or did you just make that up on the on the fly?
Wait, did you not? Were you not in the meeting? Did you miss the meeting with the with the new leadership about code words?
He knows what's coming in. He just reaches into the bag for another hand of almost raw meat.
Man, no wonder they're saying you're the weak link recently.
Listen, if you don't give people enough information, of course they're going to be the weak link.
I've heard
he does with his Varga fingers.
Take care, Crit Fail. Thank you so much as always. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Thank you, Crit. Lovely to see you tonight.
And of course, thanks for the minute of wisdom.
Yeah, of course. We always love the minute of wisdom.
Of course.
I'll turn it off next week.
Sure.
Cara says, "Well, I've heard that Stefan's interviewing like three Vargren and Aslan today as the new beefy boy of the crew."
Well, I tell you what, if you find one who's a former military general and not bad with a med kit, then they're welcome to my position.
General was on the requires, and make it was on the prefers, I believe.
Yeah, well, given our crew's history with our co-workers, perhaps it should be moved to essential.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, possibly.
A bit of bantering and meeting and early buckyball and stuff, or whatever's going on, and then Cara leaves it like another 15 minutes and then pulls it open again to see if there's a message.
There is. And the message says, understood. All okay.
Cara just closes it. Well, she shows Agnar it and then just closes it and lifts under a hoodie and pockets it. So unzips her armor a bit and pockets it inside, safe and sound sort of place. And she says to Agnar, well, I guess that's okay for now. We can go back to that when we need it. Anyway, are you eating that?
No, you've been my guest.
Oh, thank you. Cara takes the relatively raw meat and chews down on it before saying, oh, man. What time is it, Ben?
Well, let me think. Your shift handover was somewhere around 6, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we've done our meeting. We've gone the other end to the hospital.
That's right. So you've probably had a couple of hours since then. So it's probably about 8.
8. Cara says to Agnar, I guess it's probably too early for a mimosa, but I don't know, man. Are you happy here? Is there anything you want to do?
Let's get a mimosa.
Who is this? Like, you don't have to impress me. It's Stefan you've got to impress.
Let me tell you, Cara, I don't have to impress anyone. But we're, this is our downtime. It's a very rare Cara and Agnar moment.
They're classic moments, Cara and Agnar moments.
Sitting here with a bag of meat and some buckyball. All that's missing is a mimosa.
Wow.
Just one, not really crazy. It's mostly orange juice, citrus juice of some form.
It's true. Well, let's see if which bar's the one that I wanted to look at the bar. Let's see if Duke's is open. If they've cleaned up the mess from last night, and we can go and reside in there and chill out for an hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cara gathers her big bag of cuddly toys, drops her half-eaten sandwich into Agnar's bag, and drags him off to Duke's.
Do you want to drop any of that out of the room first, or?
It'll be fine. We're close. Are we close to Duke's in the room? I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll do it after. Just don't let anyone have them. Don't let anyone have these moanfs. They're precious.
Oh, well, I'm dressed to defend moanfs, as you can tell.
You're dressed to kill them.
He doesn't pump his shotgun because Ben's told me many a time that it's not a pump action shotgun. But he does the action and makes the noise himself. Yeah.
And a big Varga pumping a shotgun at like 8 o'clock in the morning when everyone's a bit on edge is probably not the way to go.
I'm just imagining
full combat
him doing that. And he's still sitting there looking at the buckyball pitch. He sort of pumps the shotgun, aims it out towards the middle of the pitch, and says, "Pull!"
All the benches just clear out from behind us. It's gone. Put that thing away. You'll have someone's eye out.
Okay. Come on, let's go.
Okay, so where are you heading first?
We'll go to Duke's first.
Duke's. Yeah.
All right. So you find your way to Duke's and settle in for a swift drink. and second brunch.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's like 8:30 by now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Which, if you want to get a third brunch in before 11's, is
Well, yeah.
about time for second brunch.
You got to be strict on second brunch. Is the one that always falls apart. You got to be strict on second brunch.
That's right. Yeah. If you don't get your second brunch down, I mean,
Your whole
well,
day's
it's all gone
messed
wrong
up.
at that
You're
point.
struggling to fit the rest in.
Okay. So you settle in and spend an hour or so enjoying second brunch.
I see like as they chat, they're chatting through light-hearted things, but I'm imagining both are also kind of churning things through in their head. I know Cara will be. We're still, we can't be too far off her search.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you head back to the room, you'll probably get the results.
Every 10 minutes or so, Agnar's saying, "Do you want to check the?"
It's basic maths, Bez. Basic maths. It's as simple as it comes. Cara says, "I'll check it when we get back to the room."
That's a very good point, though.
And then it gets to that sort of 9:30, I guess, and Cara's like, "Should we go back? I've got something to check in, and I've got a search I left running. We can wake Soraya up so that she can get some buckyball in before her shift, and that you're only a couple of hours off yourself, mate. Shall we?" It's been a really pleasant morning. I felt like we've not caught up like this in a while. You know, not since the hot tubbing yesterday. In fact, we sat in a hot tub for an hour. It's so long, you and I feel like.
No, it's been nice. We should, all other eventualities aside, if things go as planned, we should do this every morning while we're here. You know, there's no reason not to that I can see.
It fits in well with our schedules.
Yeah, precisely. Sounds good.
Let's go back. I've got an IT bun in the oven. Come on.
Come on in. Let's go see those IT problems.
Okay. You head your way back and see Stefan loitering around, presumably doing his duty.
Was he like pooing in a bush or something?
Oh, Luke.
Stefan! Look, man, if you need it, I'm sure like someone will cover you for a minute.
Yes, they will not see him pooing in a bush, but he will be at the very top of the list.
This is the only reason why we'll never get hundreds of thousands of viewers.
Because I refuse to have my characters poo in bushes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a moment when I almost responded to, you could at least have someone cover you with, well, someone should be covering that. But, it passed pretty quickly.
Of course it did.
It's more of an Agnar style to bury it.
Precisely. Mostly because I knew that it would be my character who would then be burying it.
Yes, it's true. So, are you heading down?
Yeah, just wander past Stefan. Cara will do it so that she can speak to Stefan, because character's always awkward when it's both yours. Hey, Stefan. How's it going? You seen anything? You had any grief this morning? Seen anything weird?
Move along, unless you have business with the diaspora, please. I don't want to see you here.
I bought you some meat. She holds up a bag with a half-eaten sandwich in it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, he's not fussy.
No, I haven't had any trouble at all. I know. Was it Zoe? So we've been at the top of the list.
Yeah. Zoe seemed to see trouble everywhere, and Stefan hasn't.
I know Zoe seemed to had a few confrontational people. I don't know whether it's time of night, I suppose, maybe. day, night. I lose track. But she had a couple of problems, but managed to sort them out with some stern words. I've not seen anyone.
That's because you've got a cheery disposition and a positive mental attitude.
Well, people just know not to mess with me. You know?
Yeah.
What can I say?
I think, given Zoe said she was kind of looking forward to a fight, if you go around looking forward to a fight,
Yeah, you
sometimes you do get into a bit of one, you know?
I think Stefan just wants a coffee or a sleep.
And third brunch.
Exactly. You're doing a good job, Stefan. Keep it up. We've only got a couple of hours left at most, mate. You're doing very well.
It's music to my ears. I long for bed. This time, I'm going straight back for sleep, and I'm going to get some, a bit of downtime in before my shift, I think.
Your sleep pattern is screwed. You've definitely got the worst shifts, I think.
It's not even the shifts. It's my approach, I think, that doesn't help. But thanks.
Burning the candle at both ends.
Thanks for the brunch, anyway.
That's all right, man. You take care. And, Cara hops in the lift, which no doubt Agnar's holding, and heads back down to her room, which probably still has a snoozing Rick in it. So Rick's not in hers actually. Hang on, her room's the girl. Her room's
Rick's
the girls'
in with
room.
Stefan and Soraya.
Yeah, he's in the jocks' room. This is very important. Cara's with
Rose and Cat.
She's in party corner. Rose and Cat. It's not very party corner right now.
No,
at least it wasn't Rose and Zoe.
Oh man. But so Cara goes into her room and she drags Agnar in. Rose isn't there. Cat's probably sleeping. So
yeah, Cat's resting.
So Cara shushes Agnar and drags him in, and motions to the end of the bed for him to sit on, and grabs her laptop and opens it up.
Right. The program has indeed finished its search, and on the screen you are seeing dozens and dozens of images of the unknown person that the security staff have come to know as Piggles, in the absence of a real name. There doesn't seem to be any identification detail related, but this is a lot of images of him moving around the Seamstress while it was in the first part of its journey. And not only moving around the Seamstress, but you have actual footage of him coming and going from, to and from his rooms, the little suite area that he was staying in. So
I've got tingles.
So while you may not know who he is, you know where his room is.
Cara sort of chokes down a squeal of excitement and slaps across Agnar's chest a bit too excitedly, pointing at the room and clicking on the picture to zoom it in. She's like, Eureka.
And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Yes.
That seems like a triumphant moment.
God, love a triumphant moment.
It very much feels like a Eureka moment.
It's a Eureka moment. Excellent work. Thank you, Ben. Great stuff.
Yeah, thank you. It was very good. It's much fun.
Excellent.
Much fun, much brunch. Many questions. Many more questions.
So nicely brunch heavy stream.
It was a brunch heavy stream. Yes, it was
indeed.
was the plushiest stream I think we've ever done.
That's true. Also, yeah.
I've never had so many plushes. But at least the episode title writes itself, quite frankly. And we've got a Rose's cat. Yoink.
Okay.
Gotta find the hat.
Got to find the hat. It's cannon or something.
No, it's a hat. I'm not gonna put a cannon on my head.
The hat is cannon. The cannon is hat.
The cat in the hat.
Oh, what have we descended into?
It's 2:30 in the morning.
Lot of years ago, I used to have a hat that had hat written on it.
Oh, I like that. That is good.
It went with a T-shirt that had T-shirt written on it.
Nice.
Most people wouldn't wear things like that, but I have no shame.
I'm a big fan of both of those things. I'd wear them.
Okay. So, meanwhile, on the Baltic Star, Kronsorama woke refreshed.
Yes.
After he took the luxury of a shower without having to immediately go on duty afterwards, he checked the time and then called Rachel Axis. Axis, his superior answered. Just reporting in. Pretty much everything made it through soak without a problem. A few minor things to address today, but she's ready to go. He petered out. Thanks, said Axis. Now for the caboodle report. She's been a delightful terror to everyone on the station, of course. Currently, she's helping me solve a murder. Sarama frowned, but didn't say anything for a while. Eventually, he said, Sorry, I think you broke up there a bit. It sounded like you said Caboodle was helping you solve a murder. He heard Axis laugh. That's affirmative. We have a crime-fighting kitten on the roster. This sounds like a story I need to hear. It is, said Axis, but not right now. Caboodle's about to interrogate a suspect. As Axis closed the comm channel, she picked up the holdall with its furry occupant and walked briskly into the small interrogation room. Inside, there was a nervous-looking man sitting at a table opposite two security officers. On the table between them was a fish, grilled to perfection. Axis carefully put the holdall in the corner and sat down next to it, her back to the wall. Who's she? The nervous man asked. One of the officers smiled. Her? You don't want to worry about her. If I were you, I'd worry about the fish. And what's in the bag. The suspect's eyes went wide and he stared at the holdall in terror. Axis silently stood, picked up the holdall and placed it on the table next to the fish. Immediately, Caboodle started pouring at the mesh, through which she could see freshly grilled fish. The smell must have been intoxicating for the cat. The nervous man flinched away from the suddenly active holdall. Clearly, he was imagining some unspeakable horror was within. Caboodle, inside the bag, was getting more and more agitated. Surely at some point soon there would be fish for the cat. She pressed her front paws against the mesh panel and let out a squeak. From her position, she had a very good view as Axis took out a folding knife and carefully opened the razor-sharp ceramic blade. Axis smiled at the nervous man, and as she looked down at the knife, Caboodle chose that exact moment to let out a low moan, which elicited the tiniest of sobs from the suspect. We'll pick that up next time.
Ah, lovely. I like that one. I want to see more. I want to hear more crime-solving cats.
More crime-solving cats. Yes,
Right.
yes. There's probably a subgenre somewhere on the internet of that. I don't know.
There's probably a jingle for a show called Crime Solving Cats from the early 90s. I can hear it in my head.
Well, I hope that was okay for you, Sparrow. Thank you for redeeming Rose's cat. Always appreciated.
Yes, thank you much, Liam. It's a beautiful amuse-bouche. Is that the phrase in food? No, yeah, it's good stuff. And I suppose he's good, isn't he? He's the best of us all.
I'm not sure about that.
A little treat.
But a bit of storytelling is fun. It's always fun. Creativity is fun.
That's what we're here for. Storytelling, creativity, and hanging out. We're all tired people, all with busy lives. It's nice just to hang in a space for a bit. I just love it that you guys have hung with us. Thank you to the chatters and the lurkers and all sorts.
Yeah, it is. There are many more laughs because of the chatters.
Yes, it is a demonstrably more fun experience with a bit of interaction from friends in chat. It really is. Well, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. It was fun tonight.
Yeah.
It's always
Thank you,
fun.
Ben.
It's always fun, Ben. Thank you.
And thank you everybody in chat and anybody who watches in VOD and all of our friends out there.
Oh yeah, shout out to the VOD squad.
Always got to shout out the VODers.
Yeah, Timothy there. It's one of them. Someone else as well was VOD in this week as well. We listened to a few. I can't remember who it was now. Safko, I think it was VOD squadded. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so we are doing something tomorrow, aren't we?
I don't know, are we? Anyone?
No,
what? Yeah, of course we are. We're playing Troika tomorrow. We rejoin Carl and Lucy.
This is mad gas lifts and weird futures.
On top of that hotel.
In a good way. It's just so confusing.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, man, I thought I was going light as well on the confusion, but hey.
I do like the Poltergeist though. The Poltergeist is my favourite character.
Poltergeist is my favourite. The favourite of my creations.
Yes.
And they haven't even done anything yet. It's just the name. The name and the accordion.
Indeed. Yep. I think Troika is joyous. I think it probably is the weirdest thing we do.
Yeah.
But it is the most amazing little surreal journey.
I mean, you say that, Ben, but Luke and I entered into a dungeon with a bearded. What was the bearded man's name, Luke?
Oh, with his little nuts.
Yeah. He pulled out animals and nuts and said it could be this way or that way or maybe that way every time we asked him a question.
Yeah.
He deserved to be killed, thinking back. It's quite annoying.
And funnily enough, it is based on the same Fighting Fantasy rule set.
Yep. That character is not intended to be murder hoboed, and he ended up being murder hoboed by the least murder hobo group of people in all of TTRPG.
We just got stuck. We couldn't find the secret door.
Who'd have thought it?
We overthought the game. We're role players in 2022, 2021 as it probably was then. We just we couldn't see the woods for the trees.
Indeed.
Tree beards.
The tree beards, exactly.
But yes, very true. And we are playing Troika tomorrow. We shall be there in the Blancmange and Thistle Hotel with Carl and Lucy to see what unfolds.
And that's Thrushbeard. Thank you.
That's the one.
Yeah. I knew Sparrow with me.
Yes, well done, Sparrow. Thank you. And yes, that's our sort of usual TTRPG time, about 11 o'clock UK time.
Yes.
So if you'd like to join us, please do. It will be weird and lovely. So yes, thank you everybody.
Thank you everyone.
Indeed.
I'm going to raid a channel we haven't raided for a while, and it's a channel called McStabber Studios, and they play tabletop RPGs. They're playing a game tonight called Nighthawks. And I'm sending down it, and I'm going to quickly read the blurb for Nighthawks, and we're going to go at least say hello. It's built on Caltrop core, so that's right up you in Straza. Nighthawks is a game of 3 to 6 players based on the painting of the same title by Edward Hooper. That's the people sitting in that little corner cafe in the US, right? You and your friends play lonely people. What you do about it, if anything, is entirely up to you. Together you'll decide on what form the diner takes, what relationships you'll have, and what you'll do each night. Will you succumb to isolation with salvation right there, or will you risk rejection and grab at happiness with both hands? Nighthawks came to me in a rare flash of inspiration. The downside is the subject matter, loneliness. The question I asked myself was, is this worth playing? Would it even be fun? It's something I ask in the text itself too, in indulgent interstitial pages between the rules. The answer is a resounding yes, and I hope it's the same for you. It's a storytelling game we explore loneliness together with people you trust. Sounds
nice.
Kind of. There's a nice vibe to it. I like the sound of it.
Sounds very interesting.
Sounds very late nights. Yeah.
Yeah, which it is at this point.
Sitting around talking about stuff. So we'll raid that. You know,
Nice.
as always with you guys, you don't need to you owe us nothing on the raid or anything, but we're going to pop and say hello at least, and it's nice to support other channels in it. And this sounds really interesting. So,
For sure.
but thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it, and have a good day tomorrow. And hopefully, we'll see some of you tomorrow night then.
Yes, brilliant.
Take care. Bye, everyone.
Good night,
Good
all.
night.
Love you. Bye. Jump on the raid. Let's go. Off to see the loneliness. Cool. Right, let's go. Let's raid.